like milk isn't bad.
Levi's like, you like milk.
You have to say it.
But like white liquids and mayonnaise.
Can I talk about the race war for a second? So
Roll the intro.
hello? No, I know. No, don't worry about it. Season 4 starts right now. Let's go! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Under the Influence, our primary podcast here at Christian Influence Studios. We're so glad that you're with us for our finale episode of season 4. I can't believe it, but we're 96 episodes into this madness.
96?
Yeah, 96.
Oh, I mean, Levi and I have literally recorded, you've missed like 2 and I've missed 1, but 94, 95 episodes.
Holy
I'm not saying it, but I'm the reigning champ. But, you know.
I'm not saying it, but I am.
Sorry, Byron, you are way behind.
I am so far behind. I'm going to have to do solo episodes just to catch up.
Byron's going to do 30 solo episodes.
30 consecutive solo episodes.
Byron by himself.
Yeah.
Hello.
We could do some Byron lo-fi studying.
Yeah,
episodes.
lo-fi study episodes. Where he's just...
Honestly, that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be kind of cool.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't be cool.
Oh, it wouldn't be cool. All right. Board chairman over here has said it. So, as you're seeing, Byron's back. It's been like 5 episodes since he's been here. We're glad to have him. But also, it's been 17 episodes since we've had Hunter back again.
Here I
Third
am.
episode. Here he is. And it's been 24 episodes since we've seen Matt.
Is that true?
Yeah, you were on the last season's finale.
Oh,
Which was 24 episodes ago. Because
I knew that.
23 episodes.
Yeah.
I think moving forward, we'll just have you on the finale every time.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
I think it's fun.
But no toga. We had togas last time.
We did have togas.
Would you prefer the toga?
I mean, it's
how you
easier.
are.
I don't have to choose what I wear.
But like you can also have a shoulder out, you know?
You could have had one of
Yeah,
your
that's
nice,
what I was
crisp,
thinking about. exposed
shoulder
crisp
No,
red
no.
shoulders
Yeah,
exposed.
because of your like
condition.
And then every now and then Levi could go,
if you got, well, what if we all wore tube tops? Ooh.
Yeah.
Then my
Ooh,
shoulders
you don't
could
want it.
just breathe.
you don't want it.
Oh, I would look so good.
Wow, Byron.
So good.
Yeah.
You've got to leave.
We could have done that. I'm glad that we didn't. But this episode is going to be, as the last finale was, a little bit longer. So it's going to be on the long side. So if you're listening right now and you didn't look at the time thing, you're in for a ride. If you're watching, then I hope you have some popcorn, you have a drink, maybe means to go to the bathroom that you don't have to leave your seat with, because, you know, buckle in. We're in for the long haul here. We've got some cool things planned. What's up?
Are you encouraging them to sit on the toilet and watch us for 2 hours?
Ooh, that wasn't actually what I was thinking.
I mean,
but that makes more sense.
that's
because
what
I was
I'm-
like you like and
I was saying
probably watch it on your phone so that like when you go take a bathroom break you like
I
don't
was
have-
thinking a person,
'Cause you're gonna
I'm
need all the
imagining
time that you
they
can.
want the full experience, right? Why would we encourage, you know, what's his name? That one director that doesn't like Marvel movies. Not that there's only one. What's the guy? Not George Soros.
no,
He's not George Soros.
Clooney.
What's the guy
it's,
that the
Bill
Italian? He made like all those.
Albert Einstein.
You know who I'm talking
Scorsese.
about? Scorsese, Martin
Yeah.
Scorsese.
Scorsese
How he's
had
like,
that line
he's
that-
like cinema is ruined, and you have all these people. I'm not on the Marvel thing. All these people are watching, like movies are being made to be watched on their phone because of Netflix. He's like, I still make movies to be watched in the theater. That's what this is, Levi. They need the full experience. We're not promoting.
be in a
watch
theater.
it on. Yeah, watch it someday. Someday we'll be there.
Dude, could you
On the
imagine
big screen.
screenings of
Screenings
UTI?
of Under the Influence.
There it is.
Critical Role did it.
They did.
We
Was
could do
it
it.
successful?
Oh yeah, they made a bunch of money.
Yeah, they made so much money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, so successful from a money perspective, but also like huge, built a ton of hype around the release of their new season and all that. Yeah, it worked. We could, what I'm saying is that's why I was thinking they would need like a bottle next to them because they're going to be sitting on their comfy couch with popcorn and a drink, watching on their big screen at home. Yeah. Or in a theater.
Bring a 2-liter.
A 2-liter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't just
Glad
have
we
a
got
can.
that out of the way. You know, Hunter's back, so I think it just brings out the bathroom talk in us, huh?
Yeah. I have a habit of doing that with you.
Yeah. Just your presence.
Yep.
Well, don't think about that too much,
Yeah.
but no offense, you know. But you know,
None taken.
Okay, good.
I refuse to take any.
even if I was deliberately being offensive.
That's right.
I refuse to take offense. That's
right.
good. No, we've got an interesting show planned for you. I hope it's interesting. We've got some things to talk about. And a lot of it. We had some fun coming up with ideas for this finale. One of the things that we wanted to do was 5 people on the show. We haven't done that. It felt like an impossibility with our current setup, but we found a way.
It's a little bit of a,
It's a lot of jank.
a little jank.
Yeah.
There's so much knee touching. It's so fun.
Our knees are all touching. And you're seeing our knees right now, which is usually, the goal is usually for that not to be the case. Don't look at them now that I put it. Don't look at them.
Well,
Don't look at them.
Can
Now
they see
It's
our
the
knees?
classic.
They can see our
Berthelot.
knees.
Yeah, they can see our
So
knees.
they can see that Byron and our knees are touching.
Yeah.
yes, they can.
The most
Piece that
disturbing,
together.
Their
most
toes are just
disturbing image
interlocked
ever.
halfway through the table.
Oh no.
And also at the start of this, it's already warm in this room. So
It's
You
only
guys don't
gonna
know
be
this,
worse.
but Byron is 7 feet 5 inches tall.
all in his legs.
Our knees are
all
touching
in his
right
legs.
here.
Gross. It's all in his like thigh bones. That's where the height is. What are those?
Femurs?
Femurs. Thanks. I was going to say
Thigh
tibias,
bones.
but I know that tibias are the other ones.
Tibia's the one you broke.
Yeah. That's how I know. I only know one of my leg bones because it's the one that I broke twice on either
Yeah.
leg.
You broke both of that twice.
Wild.
You broke each
broke-
tibia
No,
twice.
once. Each tibia
on
once,
each
sorry.
leg. Once each leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once by
Once,
Okay.
once it broke and started to enter the growth plate, but which is bad.
That's bad.
because it could stunt my growth. But they were like, "We're pretty sure you just ended growing." But because it was just old enough, they're like, "But
And
if
then
you
you
do grow a little more, it's only going to grow on one side."
Were you 11?
No. Thanks, Matt. No. To kind of catch up here, Matt, you were just in Hawaii.
Yes.
How did that go?
It went really well. I have my special B-boys.
B-boys. You can say
Yeah,
that.
you read that part.
Calendula propolis.
Yep.
Propolis.
What is
Yeah.
this?
This is
Why would you make
for
me read it?
my burns.
Oh.
So if my face looks...
You're just like Caesar.
Oh! Yeah,
burns.
well...
This is what he needs.
That's true. I didn't think about it. So my face might look a little shiny.
Yeah.
It's because it was falling off this morning.
Ew.
You got a really nice face peeling, you know?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. you could really feel
did you get
all
one
the
sheet?
laters. Just
One sheet, just
Yuck.
full on.
And they taped me up with gauze for the plane ride. And when I got home last
Did
night...
they actually do that
disregards
for
that.
you? Like going on the plane
Well,
ride?
we
or
went...
was that
no. We went with... my wife's boss took us on this trip. They have a place.
okay.
They semi-live in Hawaii because he's getting ready for retirement. So they took us to their house. But he put gauze on my shoulders.
Okay.
And he taped right on a blister, like a sun blister.
No.
So I tried to pull it off last night,
That's
and
intentional.
all my skin was coming up, and I just went, I'm going to bed. Like, I'm done. This is staying on. So this morning I took a shower and try to get it off. But yeah, where the tape goes is important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you take a warm shower or cold shower? And how'd that hot water feel?
And did you
on
eat an orange as if it's an apple?
I was miserable. I still got, I did. I had some goosebumps because I've been so cold because I took a cold
Yeah.
shower. So
Yeah.
I'm just still really chilled.
Yeah.
But if the water is a little bit warm,
It's
my
burning.
shoulders
It's
just
burning.
burn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as a pastor, it's hard not to always be seeing the world as a possible sermon illustration. The whole time, I'm like, yeah, sometimes you just don't recognize when you're being burned. Because I was in the water for 4 hours and I was like, this feels great. And then I get out and I'm like, I destroyed myself. I didn't even know. The water was so cool.
you were
it
having
was
a
so
great time, you know?
It was even overcast for a little bit, and I was like, I'm definitely fine now.
Yeah.
Right?
All the worldly signs were pointing to good.
Yeah, and a lady at a farmer's market was like, was it overcast? That always gets people. She's like, it's worse when it's overcast. I was like, it was overcast. So mostly my shoulders, because they don't see the light of day very often, got destroyed. So I had sun blisters on there. It's getting better now. There was a time on the beach after church. We went to church there, old church called Livingstone. And, it's outside, which is awesome. And so the beach is going all around it. And afterwards, my son wanted to go and play on the rocks. And, he kept turning away from the beach, and I kept having to tell him, hey, like, you cannot turn away from the beach. You always got to see it. And telling him about the waves. And at one point, I said, Rogan, the best waves are the ones you're ready for. And I thought to myself, man, it would have been so much better if he said that. Because then it'd be easier to use that in a sermon illustration.
Yeah.
Then be like, you know what? I was at Hawaii and I said this really profound thing.
Yeah.
It's easier to be like, my son surprised me.
Yeah.
He
when
said this really profound thing, and then everyone clapped.
Yeah, everyone clapped. So
Even better yet, if he was doing that during the sermon and it just fits so well with what the pastor is preaching. He's he says it during, you're like, oh man. Everybody turns and just starts clapping.
everyone turned. Yeah, I gave him $20. Everybody.
You're like, good job. Told you to say that earlier.
Yeah. No, but other than getting burned, Hawaii was wonderful. We went to a lot of places, saw a lot of historic sites. My son would pick up coconuts and try to crack them.
Did he ever crack one?
Yeah, and then he realized it was hollow already because bugs had eaten into the inside. So
Poor kid.
there's nothing in there.
I got one. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you guys had a good time. There was one time where, when you guys were leaving, because your family, you're just always so busy. Like, you've got the stuff you're doing for school, and we're doing with Christian Influence and with church, and so it seems like you guys are just always going. And so when we knew you were going to Hawaii, a few of us were like, whatever, like, it doesn't matter what's going wrong, we don't call the Conniries, right? Just let them have their Hawaii trip. And then, like, 2 days in, I called you and went, oh, and just hung up because there was at youth group, there was that I need to figure out the alarm situation or whatever, and it's just so instinct to be like, oh, I'll just call Matt. And then I immediately hung up, and I was like, that was probably soon enough. He won't see it. And then you called me back 10 minutes later. I'm like, I'm so sorry. It's fine. I wasn't going to call you. Like, no, what's going on? I'm like, oh. So then I ended up telling you, and I was like, I blew it. Like, it was me that was like, what do we do? Let's not call him. Like, let him just forget that Oregon exists. And then I called you almost immediately. So.
Oh, I was there because the servers were down, and all I had was my cell phone, and I had a Bluetooth keyboard. So I had to ask your sister, who was house sitting for us, like, hey, turn my computer on. I'm going to remote in. And so I'm like,
With your cell phone?
yeah, with my cell phone, I'm trying to fix the servers.
Wish somebody else could have done that for you. That doesn't sound like fun. From Hawaii, remoting into servers with your cell phone. But
Yeah, but I did it with the
But you
beach
didn't.
right in front of me.
And there's probably a sermon illustration in there. I saw when I was at that youth pastor conference, there was a guy that was wearing I think it was a hat or a shirt or something that said, like, it had a big caution sign, and then it said, I'm a pastor, or it was a disclaimer, right? So, like, you're being recorded. It's like, disclaimer, anything you say
I have the
can
same
and
shirt.
will. Oh, you do? Okay, I was gonna say we should get you that shirt if you don't have it. It can and will be used as a sermon illustration. I thought it was pretty funny. That guy had like all of the youth pastor gear. Like, he wore a different hat each day that was something, kind of hip, cool Christian, like one that just said called, or something like that. And then he had every day a different shirt that was something like that, you're going to be used as a sermon illustration. And then I told him, like, hey, nice shirt, that's pretty funny. He goes, dude, you should see my lifting shirts. Oh, they're really good. And I was like, I bet they are. Like, they probably are pretty cool. But
Anyways, man, you want like a protein shake?
no, he wasn't. No, he was a cool guy. He's the youth pastor at that church where we met, and they have a youth group of like 75 students, and less volunteers than we have.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, I was telling Levi on the last episode that during we were doing this strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, thing of our youth group, and I went, I've been thinking about this lately. Like, God has really blessed us with more volunteers than we need, so I'll put that in as my strengths. And then we were supposed to present it to other youth groups, and each of the ones that went before me, they're like, strengths, gospel-centered, kids that really love it, fun times, lots of events, they might say they're all good things. And then they're each one by one. Weakness, not enough volunteers. It's just me and my wife, or me and my wife and one guy. And then I'm like, strengths, 8 volunteers for 10 kids. I feel really bad. And they're all just like, whoa. But then it ended up being most of them asking me, like, so how did you get that many volunteers? I'm like, I've been doing this for 3 months. I just have them.
I called in all my favors.
Yeah, I called all my favors in on that. Now I can't get anything else. But yeah, glad that went well, Matt. That's awesome. What a fun time, other than your horrible sunburn. What is this? Is it like aloe or just...
So I went to a guy at a farmer's market there, and I said, hey, what is this stuff? This is local bees wax stuff that they make. And he's showing me, hey, this is like sunscreen. I said, what about for people who are already very burned? And he just immediately pointed at this one. He's like, put this on, and you put it on immediately. It'll help reduce it a lot. And he's like, it's for a friend. And I said, no. And he's like, really? It's for you? Because you hold your color really well. Then I just pulled down my, he's like, never mind.
Take two.
So, yeah, everything in Hawaii is very expensive, especially if you buy the local stuff. So 96% of all calories in Hawaii are imported.
Oh, calories?
Oh, yeah.
They everything comes
makes sense.
from other places, and so when you get some of that 4%, it's pretty expensive. But they have vanilla bean that they grow there, a lot of coffee. But what was cool is you would drive up, especially you'd go into the hills a little bit. This was on the Big Island, Kona, and there would just be avocado trees, mango trees, just everywhere.
That's
Just right in
wild.
people's front yards.
That's crazy.
Or not. They would just grow, and you could go pick. He's like, I'm gonna go pick some avocados.
That's what they sounded like, or
Yeah, that was
most
imitation of my
this
wife.
guy? Okay.
That makes sense.
I'm gonna go pick some avocados.
Ashley's watching this later.
Honey, don't do that. I'm gonna
She sounds like the drummer Muppets or whatever. What's his name? Monster animal.
Animal.
Yeah.
So how have you been, Hunter?
I'm doing well.
It's been a while.
Yeah. I mean, 17 you said episodes?
Years or episodes? Yeah.
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 Years.
Not
Yeah.
since we've been in the new place.
Yeah. This is my first time. It's new studio. Before we started, they joked that like every time I come on, they swap a place. So who knows?
It's
hopefully,
true.
Hopefully that's
Next
not a
time
real
we'll be
thing,
on the
'cause-
moon.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just won't be able to have you on until and we have a 3-year lease here. So I hope you get the most out of this experience.
Yeah, 'cause this is it.
Yeah. I'm taking it in. No, this is cool.
It's
Yeah.
kind of funny that for the listener, it's like, man, every time this Hunter guy's on he's always talking about like, wow, I really like your guys' place. Like, this is nice.
I take it in. I take it in. I got the tour. I saw the bathroom. It's important. But,
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you smell the water?
I did not, but I was told that it masks what I might do to it.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. Anything
Yeah.
that you can do, the water is worse.
Yep.
The water,
can
we
be
just
better.
call it fart water because like you turn it on,
It's like smart water.
but so much worse.
It's just straight up like sulfur, like pure
Especially
sulfur.
the first time you use it they hadn't used it for a long time when we first came and checked this place out and we turned the water on and you could be walking around anywhere out here. and
Literally,
it was like,
the entire, like all the way like to where Chris is set up.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it was all just terrible.
just smelled so bad.
Is it bad enough to where they've told you like, hey, don't drink it?
No.
no,
Oh, really?
we just
But we just don't.
we just
Yeah,
didn't
that's fair.
drink it because the smell was so off-putting.
Right.
Yeah, look
Right.
what it did to Byron.
That's why he hasn't been
That's why
around
he
for a
hasn't
bit.
been here. Yeah.
Sorry.
5 episodes out.
Yeah.
It's been like a month and a half.
I had one sip. One sip.
sip,
That was
one
it.
sip.
And it was
Yeah.
A single drop.
game
It was just
over.
Ebola.
I do want to smell it though, because like
You should.
The water where I grew up in Montana was we would get notices on our front door saying, "Hey, do not drink it.
Whoa.
Boil before using."
Whoa.
Yeah, and it was.
you said you were in
stinky.
Flint, Michigan, or
No.
Oh,
Nope.
sorry, Montana. I
Sun Prairie, Montana.
mixed those up.
Yeah. They're very similar in no ways at all.
Well, yeah. If you get rid of all the ways that they're not alike,
Yeah.
then they're exactly
Exactly.
the
Then
same.
they're
They
exactly
begin with
the
them.
same. Yeah.
Yeah, then they're exactly the same.
Yeah.
Cool. How's the podcast been going?
It's an adventure.
An adventure?
Yeah, it just keeps I reached out and I've got some like projects going with it and other things that I'm going, why do anybody want to talk to me about this? But yeah, no, I enjoy it. It's a hobby and everybody's got something to talk about with that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
When it comes to bathrooms.
Yes, sir.
Well, cool. Well, we're glad to have you back. I think you're going to be here for, I think, an episode that is just perfect for you. We were talking about some of the things that we're going to be talking about this episode. And honestly, I was like, man, it just kind of seems like God worked this out. So I'm looking forward to it. Levi, you got something for us. What's in the news?
You've come back from Hawaii, so I was thinking about like, well, was there anything interesting to happen like when Hawaii became a state?
And no.
And
'Cause it-
surprisingly, there was one thing that was interesting.
Have you not been present for this book being open?
I have not.
We've been told that it makes us look like hobbits
Okay.
by someone in the
is.
community.
It's a big book.
There's just this episode where there's a shot where it's only Levi and I sitting at the table when it's made smaller. We're on either side of it, and Levi brings out this huge book, and it just looks like the two
This
of us.
is a normal size book.
Yeah,
It's
just
a
looks like
normal
a
size
normal
book,
size
yeah.
book.
We
Yeah.
are way smaller than you thought.
So the whole knee thing.
How does this work? Because I'm 7 foot and then,
Yeah. Well, but it's all in your legs.
Perspective.
Forced
dude.
perspective.
It's forced perspective.
Forced perspective.
Okay, so
like how they made Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I'm literally like 3 miles that way. You don't realize it.
So big heading. Hawaii wins approval as 50th state, and they've got a little thing. 50, it's nifty with a bunch of Hawaiians with pineapples and stuff. Oh, there was a little thing.
I thought that was a holographic image. My eyes were freaking out, but it was just a piece of junk.
So a big headline. Ding Dong Daddy gets on wrong track again by taking 17th bride.
What?
What?
What is the term ding dong daddy?
So the
mean?
Ding Dong Daddy of the D car line is off on the wrong track again. Francis H. Van Y, 69-year-old ex-trolley man who achieved notoriety and jail by marrying 16 women without 15 divorces, appeared yesterday to have hitched himself to yet a 17th bride in violation of conditions of his 7-year probation for bigamy.
Bigamy?
Bigamy is when you marry someone who's married already.
So the
Sounds
latest
like a made-up
bride,
word. Like
73-year-old June Puckett Van Y, said yesterday
she took his last name.
in Sacramento that she had just learned of his flamboyant past and would ask an annulment. She sued for divorce the previous day on grounds of desertion. She said she and Van Y were married June 15th, 1957 in Lottie and lived together about a year before the ex-motorman disappeared. Mrs. Van Y said she asked her attorney to drop the divorce suit and ask for an annulment on learning her husband's true colors. Okay. Meanwhile, Van Y's whereabouts was unknown whether either to her or the Los Angeles probation office. Probation officer Glenn Reed, who has handled Van Y's case since he was placed on probation December 2nd, 1952 by Superior Judge Frampton, here disclosed that the court had revoked probation past February 6th and issued a bench warrant for his arrest.
I would have struggled.
well,
Well, it's because
those words are also close together.
things are like faded partially
Yeah.
and like letters aren't correctly like printed out. The revocation was based on his failure to make his regular monthly report to probation officer. Reed also said that a
finding another
marriage
wife.
contracted during the probation period, which still has 8 months to run, would also be grounds for revocation.
Wow.
He was convicted for bigamy and marrying Mrs. Amelia Pitchard, 73, without first divorcing Mrs. Mary Abba Van Y, 67.
Wait, that woman was 73 or was that the year?
The woman was 73 and the previous woman was 67. This new woman was 73.
Okay, so this guy's probably on the older side.
He was 69.
yeah.
69. He's marrying around his
Yeah.
age. At least
Okay,
that.
at least.
He's got that.
Yeah,
going on.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
got the ballpark.
I was worried that this was like some young guy.
24-year-old guy.
Okay, but this is like he served 6 months in county jail and honor farm before being placed on probation with orders to keep out of the matrimonial wilderness for 7 years.
Whoa, matrimonial wilderness.
That's it.
Good
That
writing.
is what. There's no more. There's plenty of fish in the sea. Now there's plenty to hunt in the matrimonial wilderness. That's
And
the
this guy, he marries the 17th woman, and then she says, Mrs. Van Y, number 17. This is in NO.17. Like to keep track of.
Gotta
this
catch
is
'em all, right?
The 17th woman. Said the short, plump Lothario led me to believe he had only been married once before.
Oh, okay.
And then she found
Which
out
is true.
about all of the other women after they're married for a year. He just disappears. And then she's like, well, I'm going to get a divorce.
Right.
And then found out, oh, there's a warrant out for his arrest because he's just going around marrying women.
I wonder why. You know?
Because he probably believes in no sex outside of marriage.
So he's just marrying all these women.
He's a very
and
promiscuous
he doesn't
man.
believe in divorce as well.
Doesn't
And-
believe in divorce.
He's
Right.
not divorcing all these other women.
Right. So he's
What a wild loophole.
right. That's trying to live by the very legalistically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
but also
So that was on the same front page where
as
Hawaii wins approval.
wins
Okay, to be a
approval
state.
to be a
All
state.
right. Ding dong daddy. Here's the front page.
Dong daddy.
Ding dong
Because
daddy.
it's like that story that like people would have of like they were married to two different families like
Right.
across the country and would like disappear for work trips and then would disappear from the other family for work trips. But this guy is going around. He has 17. He goes to jail and the stipulation for 7 years you can't marry anyone.
Yeah. Which
And then
is a funny.
6 months before the end, he marries somebody else. It's just like, bruh.
Oh my god.
It is like
and then skips probation. Like
Did we get to why he's called the Ding Dong Daddy though?
He was
Yeah.
he was a
because
trolleyman.
I'm
the trolleyman,
he's a
that's right.
trolleyman,
oh, and daddy of probably quite a few children.
and he got notoriety for the 16th.
Well,
and this is like
they were
the
all older women.
This is his resurgence into limelight.
Well, when did he start? He could have been in his 20s or whatever when he started. So he might have
mean-
had 8
Yeah.
women who he has
One every
children
5
with.
years.
One every 5 years.
What did
'Cause
it say? One every
was
5?
69 when he married the last woman,
Wow.
which was number 17.
Wow. That's
mean, it's-
that's 85 years if it's one every 5 years with 17 women. So he
one every
could
3 or 4.
one every yeah.
Yeah, but then you.
I wonder if there's any
you
that
would
he was
wait
like-
until
he's like,
he was
I
like
fit
between
4 into
16
this
and
year.
18 for the first one. So
What are the
like,
odds that someone hears this and they're like, "Oh my goodness,
That's my grandpa.
that's my grandpa," and I think my grandmother might be like woman number 18, 19, or 20. Like, what are the odds?
We through us reading that, the police have
if
more
you
to
know if he
mean,
like
he's
if
dead.
your
Your
grandfather's
grandfather's the Ding Dong Daddy.
your grandfather's the ding dong daddy.
leave us a comment. That'll help the show a lot. Yeah.
Did they call him short and plump?
His wife called him the short plump.
So it's surprising.
He
as
must have
well.
been charming.
He must have been very charming.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe-
he did come clean that he had been married before.
That's true.
Yeah, but he did lie by saying only
Only
once.
once.
Yeah,
though.
only is an important word.
I've only been married once though. Don't worry. Why would I be worried about you? Like,
Yeah, but-
is there a reason
Well,
for me to worry that you're
only-
married
he's-
more than that?
He's only been divorced once.
There's
That might be it.
There is annulment
Yeah.
in the Catholic understanding is that you were never married at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
if he had annulments, then he
Well,
could
but
maybe.
the thing was, he didn't end those previous 15
He didn't end
marriages.
them, right?
It
He
wasn't. It said he had 16 marriages without 15 divorces.
Okay.
so there probably was
Like,
some.
and that's what he went to jail
And
for. So
there's-
there were probably a couple in there.
There was
at
no
least.
fault divorce at the time, so there's probably more of a process, and
Yeah.
and probably cost money, and he didn't do it.
And he was probably thinking about like that he could just like skip and then
And they
like,
wouldn't care.
And because like this was also at a time where like news and things are becoming
Yeah.
more followed like nationally rather than like locally, you know.
Wow.
Don't be a ding dong daddy.
That's right.
Yeah, do not be ding
There's the
dong
lesson.
daddy. Yeah,
Don't be.
don't be.
That's hilarious.
That's one of many lessons.
one of many lessons in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, if you're writing, like,
if
come
a
up with
short
better
plump guy
names.
tells you, "I've only been married once before, so we can marry."
maybe
Run.
maybe
run.
like
I do like
dig
this
around
idea
a
that
little bit,
that,
you know?
that we have the reach, potential that somewhere out there.
I mean,
one of the
17 women.
ding dong grandbabies is listening.
It's like fool me once, shame on someone, but fool me
17
or 18
times.
times.
Yeah.
It's like Ding Dong Daddy's got a
let's
problem.
work through each of those and come up with
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure
fool me
like
seventh.
he was
fool me
just
eighth.
looking for the right woman, and you don't like
Yeah.
you don't know really who you're marrying until you're married, or
No. No, don't fall into the whole test drive the car thing.
no, I
please.
know, I know.
But yeah, well, cool. I mean, I think it's funny that the day that they're like celebrating, here's Hawaii, it's a state, and then you
and
just
it's-
your eyes drift down.
It's a fifth of the page. The fifth of the front page is all dedicated to the Ding Dong Daddy of Sacramento.
You know, you thought that we had a lot of interesting content for this episode in order for it to be long. No, we're just going to pad it with Levi reading a bunch of news articles. Go ahead and bring the next one in. You just the beginning, it's like, oh, some playful banter, and then 2 hours of Levi reading all. So we haven't gotten to all of them. So he's going to flip through the whole book, and then we'll just at the end 15 minutes be like, wasn't that fun? And then end it.
I just find it funny that it's on the like Hawaii. Anyways, ding dong dad.
Yeah. Yeah. Hardship.
That's a big thing to be the 50th state. I feel like you could probably fill the whole front page.
There are
Probably.
other big things that are like a third of it is just a picture of whatever's related to it. Like there's one of like when the bombs dropped that it was just all like the flag of Japan and then like a little bit of text on the side and bottom that's just about that.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing else that was there.
Wild.
But like this one, it's just like a third, like maybe a third is including a picture and the text for Hawaii becoming a state, and then everything else is just random stuff.
How many local news outlets do you think their front page was on like the same day or whatever was the Hawaii becoming a state? Not the Ding Dong Daddy, but like Hawaii. I bet it's like all of them, right?
I bet you it would be all
I
of
mean,
them.
I don't know about local stuff because this
Not
is like
local, but-
Los Angeles
Right,
Times,
but still, I
which
mean-
is
But like those big ones, right? It would be interesting to find out what tangential stories are on the other Hawaii became a state front pages. Like if there's some other like, you know,
New York Times was ding dong daddy marries a 17th.
and then a little thing at the bottom.
and then at the bottom, also Hawaii if you care. Yeah. Cool. Oh, and Chris, just so you know, so this next thing, we have a photo that's in the drive, and I forgot to mention to you, you'll have to pull that up and bring it out here, but it's just a photo, so there's no reaction video with it.
Though,
but,
Chris, I do want to know, was Joseph Smith in jail because of bigamy? I want to know that.
oh, that slow
you can-
turn. Why do you look so?
Well, he's trying to figure it out.
Yeah, but it was a creepy,
it was like
I could hear the of the chair.
I think
he's
so,
like, "Don't you bring up Joseph Smith?"
Well, I know
right
that
now."
I know that he was a bigamist, and that was
Dude, the
But I-
word bigamist.
But I think that was part
Yeah.
of why he was prisoned. Or in
Prison.
yeah.
Is it-
I'm not
is-
sure. I wanted to. I can't remember.
What's the like technical difference between bigamy and polygamy? I thought that was
So polygamy is you
Just having
marry
many.
multiple women,
Yeah.
and then bigamy is he married women that were already married.
oh, is that?
we're too deep on that then. Like
Oh, wait. So
they were all married women.
No.
Oh, okay.
He was married, so technically
Got it.
she married him when he was already married.
Oh,
So the
okay,
first
so
one
go back-
was
So
polygamy.
he was a bigamist because he married a person while still being married.
Got it. Got
we
it.
go
I'm
back
with
to
you
that
now.
so I can
I'm
read
with you
that?
now. And they were all polygamists
is that a different Joseph Smith?
by extension.
Or were
Because they
they
weren't married to multiple
Were
women.
they all
Men.
bigamists?
I'm muddying the water.
Does
Well,
the
they
church ever
would
say
have
one?
been.
because they're married to someone that's.
It would have been bigamy for them if they knew.
or an
But,
r/Mormon.
She didn't know that.
Yeah, she had
We're
no
getting
idea.
deep into some like
We're
legal,
deep in water
moral,
right now.
and
I just want to know
ethical-
why he was in jail. I can't remember.
Well,
I mean, he
he
did a
Googled it,
lot
and the
of
top
weird
thing
stuff.
said something about inciting a riot
Yeah.
on the
Oh,
last
what?
page.
100%.
doesn't seem like we shouldn't click
Did
it.
Joseph Smith do
Doesn't
that?
seem like we shouldn't click it. Whatever the last result was, it said
Oh, we could Google autofill this. This could be fun.
maybe Pastor Hank will.
Yes.
Does pull Pastor Hank in there?
Joseph Smith in the criminal. I mean, try clicking that one. Indicted by
First,
grand jury on the charge of treason. Is this a different Joseph Smith, or did Joseph
No
Smith?
way.
There was treason.
1839.
1839.
That's him.
Yeah.
That's him.
It's him.
It says because it was polling from this article.
Yeah.
Shibs on that last one that like brought it up in Google.
Significance.
Are the people seeing this?
Chronologically
You should
of
put this on the
charges.
reaction.
Disorderly person, assault on Calvin.
He was jailed multiple times for
Illegal
multiple
banking.
reasons.
what?
Illegal banking.
Yeah, in
February
Ohio.
1837.
Conspiracy to murder?
Yeah.
Murder who?
Bank fraud.
Hey,
Bank-
this is their American prophet, guys.
Threatened to
wild.
judge?
Threats made to judge,
Threats
not
made.
threatening to. I'm going to
Dude's
judge
wanted
you.
in multiple states for multiple things. Dude.
He's got
Arrest for
quite the
fleeing
rap
Missouri.
sheet.
Conspiracy to murder a governor?
Missouri
Inciting
treason.
a riot.
There it is.
Perjury.
Fornication and polygamy.
Polygamy. Yeah.
Man, remember the days where
polygamy not.
fornication you could get charged with?
So polygamy. not
Those were the
bigamy.
days.
Dude, I didn't know he had
Inciting
such
a
a rap
riot,
sheet.
inciting a riot, destroying the what is it? Not I can't read it.
Navajo.
Is it Navajo? No, it's
Nauvoo?
Nauvoo Expositor. What is it? Is that a
Newspaper.
Oh,
a newspaper?
You can go over it and it'll tell us what it is. It's that
Page from the only issue of the Nauvoo Expositor. The only issue of it? Wait, listen. The Nauvoo Expositor was a newspaper that published only one issue, which was dated June 7th. The Expositor was founded. Can you zoom in slightly on that for me? By several seceders from Smith's church.
They criticized him.
So they left
critical
the
of
church
Smith
and
and
started
other
to
leaders.
tell people about
Those who
it.
published the Expositor espoused a belief in Mormonism, but criticized Smith for doctrines such as plural marriage and exaltation. As Mayor Smith and the Nauvoo City Council declared the newspaper a public nuisance in order the press destroyed, the town marshal carried out the order at evening. June 11th, the Hancock County Justice of the Peace issued a warrant for the arrest of Smith and other individuals on charges of inciting a riot.
That's crazy.
Whoa.
They went
insane.
and burned it down.
They went and burned it
They
down.
burned
Yeah.
it down? Did I just read that and miss that? Somehow? Yeah. Wow. Smith fled to Illinois to avoid arrest, crossing the Mississippi
Treason
Mississippi
against
River.
Illinois as well.
A posse under the command of the governor entered Nauvoo to execute the arrest warrant, but they were unable to locate him. On June 25th, Smith and his co-defendants surrendered to the constable. Wow. That's crazy.
So that's why he went to Utah.
And then after bail was granted under the previous charge, immediately Augustine
Justice.
swore out a warrant alleging that Smith had committed treason.
Wow. This is crazy.
That's like the last of his charges.
I mean, I didn't like the guy.
The
you know,
treason
but-
I know was because he wanted to form a theocracy independent
Right.
of the United States.
Okay.
Because the United States
Yeah.
had made laws against
Yeah, look at
polygamy.
this. Just disorderly
is
person.
baffling.
Wow, so much.
That's baffling.
There's so much more
Oh,
against
he
him
was-
than I thought.
He was
he was
killed.
granted bail but killed while waiting trial for the
He was
for that
killed?
last charge, that inciting a riot.
Yeah, he was.
I didn't know.
He was trying to escape
He was,
prison.
he was trying to escape prison. and
I never
got
knew
shot.
this.
Yeah.
And so that's why they still have death by firing squad, because they believe that that's still a way that you can legally kill someone. Like
That's why
for share.
Mormons.
Oh, he died before the trial for the polygamy could happen.
So it didn't exist.
So
Hiram.
he could have been innocent.
It's his older brother. What does this call him for? The people that killed him, or what? Co-defendants.
Oh.
Ooh, Hiram. What an interesting name.
It's a cool name.
I'll put that on the list for the baby.
Hiram. Who was I named after? You know,
His brother. His co-defendant. His older brother. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, the whole Mormon thing, dude. It's just to be like, here's our prophet. It's like, all right, well, what did he say about this rap sheet and the fact that he was running for? Well, I guess they'd just be like, he was misunderstood.
Well,
He was
think
before his
there,
time.
There could be
Or after his
like
time.
you think about it's
Yeah.
it's easy for us to look back and look at the Roman world and say, look at how they were against the disciples, look how they were against Jesus to some degree. So I would think it's
That's
kind
it,
of
Chris.
a weak position to say, well, he must have been a really bad guy because
bring it down,
all of these things. Instead, we should ask, are the charges true? Like,
Yeah.
Because the reason we look and we say, oh, this was really bad, it's because we agree that polygamy is not something you should do, or bigamy.
You can download it at the top
treason.
right.
Like, okay, what are the real charges? Because, Jesus effectively was charged with treason.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not something that he was guilty of. So to me, it's not a super good argument. The best argument is just looking at the actual teaching and,
Right.
and saying, like, if you Doctrine of Covenants 132, which is their plural marriage, their polygamy, which they've since interpreted as, but only in heaven. So they didn't get rid of it. They've just shifted its destination and said it only happens in heaven now. So any guy who's a good enough Mormon will go and have many wives sealed to him so that he can produce spirit babies and populate his own planet. So all very hokey and bizarre. And any woman, the best glorification that you can hope to achieve is that you be sealed to a guy that's a good Mormon in heaven. So if you, for instance, women who aren't Mormon, it just means that they don't get to choose who they're sealed to. If you are a good Mormon woman, then you'll be sealed to your husband. And so that's who you'll have. Now, he'll have other women too, but he'll have you. And so my wife, for instance, when she passes away, there's going to be someone in the Mormon temple who's going to get baptized in her by proxy. because that's their baptism of the dead. And that means now she can be brought and sealed. And at that moment, she'll be sealed to a man, and plop, he gets a new wife in his celestial kingdom, whereby he can, for me, it's like there's these gods, right, of their own planets. But what system is orchestrating this to making sure everyone gets to is there some greater God but for them, it's a system they can't actually explain that, it's not Elohim. Elohim is just the God of this planet. Yeah. And he was once just like us, a man who lived a good Mormon life and became, so there is this machinery, this celestial machinery that they can't explain. It's almost like they have their own fine-tuning problem. Because their system's fine-tuned, but they don't have an overarching creator of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is Elohim, was he born on this earth and then raised and became a god of this? Well, he was on a different planet, different universe, different solar system.
And then just inherited this one?
Inherited this one as his. And started this one?
So why didn't he
one
start
of the
out with
presidents, and I can't remember his name, but he famously said, what we are, God once was, and what God is, we will one day become. And so the idea, now he's talking to men, because only men can ascend to godhood. But I say that because in Doctrine and Covenants 132, and I find it fascinating, terrible at the same time, he actually very explicitly says to his present wife, to whom he's only married to, and speaking with the divine command of God, she's got to be okay with this. It's like he's convincing his wife that she needs to be okay, according to the divine will of God, for him to marry other women.
Weird and bad. Weird and bad. Yeah.
So it's just, for me, when you think about there's sort of a principle in history called the principle of, what is it? I can't remember. It's self, when it benefits you more than any other person. Self-interest, that's what it is. It's the principle of self-interest. And it's not a foolproof principle, but it just asks the question, if the people writing this history are the ones who disproportionately benefit from it, it's less likely to be true.
Yeah.
So, for instance, who benefits from this? Well, Joseph Smith disproportionately benefits from all of this. Now you look at the history of our belief, right? The Old and New Testament, and you're saying, okay, here's this patriarchal system that says we have decided that if a man looks upon a woman with lust, he has committed adultery already.
Well, shoot.
Yeah, that disproportionately benefits men because it's really the women that have issues with that, right? No, it's a way of saying, this is God's will for men and women alike, and it is equally applied, even though this particular command does disproportionately affect those writing it, the men.
Yep.
Because this is not to say women don't struggle, because it's not true. Women do struggle with lust, but men with lust of the eyes, we just know this statistically, are affected more by visual stimuli, right? So if you just look upon a woman with lust, you've committed adultery already. So it passes the principle of self-interest because it doesn't disproportionately benefit those writing it. Yeah. In fact, those writing it all died very terrible lives.
So, it's similar to the Gospels
not
as well.
Terrible in the sense of they suffered and they had to endure things.
Yeah, but they weren't commanding their own entire church and being essentially put on this pedestal as Joseph Smith was, right?
Joseph Smith got
all the worldly
wealth,
desires.
And he like he said, he actually took women from members of his church who were already married and said, "Yeah, sorry, dude, she's my wife.
She's
now."
mine. Yeah.
Can you imagine just being looking out and be like, "Man, that's a really pretty girl. I know she's married, but now just tell her God." Yeah, God said you're mine now. I don't know why.
That same principle of self-interest can be applied when observing the written accounts of the Gospels too, right? That's one of those same things that we apply when considering like how it did not disproportionately benefit these men to write these things down and to be honest about it, right? Because looking at how their lives went from a worldly perspective, or like or this life, right, on earth, it absolutely did not disproportionately benefit them.
Right. Yeah.
But they knew it was true.
Yeah, and so like in Mormon literature, they go out of their way to try to get rid of anything that would also be viewed as possibly embarrassing. And yet the gospel will keep, our gospels will keep all that in. So that's another principle called the principle of embarrassment, that something is actually more likely true if you have a very good reason for not putting it down. For instance, like one of the most important apostles is the apostle Peter. And yet we include all of the ways he screwed up.
Yeah.
We include all of the ways that David, who is, from whom the Messiah comes, his line, a man after God's own heart. Have you read the history of David, right?
Yeah.
And the things that he did.
Yeah.
But the denial of Peter, he cuts off a guy's ear, right? And Jesus has to Jesus looks at him and says, "Get behind me, Satan."
Those two, the
After-
denial and the get behind me, Satan, are like the two like real heavy hitters that you would think he would take out of all things, right? Because they seem most condemning.
Well, his closest followers where Thomas doubts Jesus, says, unless I'm not going to believe that unless I put my hands into his side, or when they're going to Caesarea Philippi where people had tried to kill Jesus earlier, Thomas is like, all right, let us go and die with him.
Let's
right?
go and die with him. Right?
There's a lot of faults in these guys. And actually another one is the baptism of Jesus. It's in all four Gospels. And the baptism that John the Baptist did was the baptism of repentance. And so it's easy for people to misread that. And you'd almost want to be like, I don't really want to include this because people will think it was for repentance, but Jesus was sinless. So why was he baptized? Well, it says in there it was to fulfill all righteousness, right? And John even says, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy to baptize you. But yet Jesus does go and receive baptism by John the Baptist in the Jordan River. And so that would be construed as something that the writers would have a vested interest not to include it, lest people be confused, but it's included. So Gospels, or just the entire biblical corpus, the Old and New Testament, compared to something like the Book of Mormon or the Pearl of Great Price or the Doctrine of Covenants, it passes all of our really good historical criteria for truth. And the Book of Mormon and all of its other exterior documents do not. It's also why they don't accept the Journal of Discourses, which is all of their things, their sermons from past presidents. Now, past presidents were prophets, so they are prophets of God. And a prophet, of course, according to the Bible, if they're prophets, if what they speak is true, and if what they speak is false. So you look at these, and so they challenge and say, well, maybe some people wrote some things down incorrectly, or they're not accurate transcripts of these. They'll say things like that because some of the things they say are terrible and have changed over time, like all of the previous racism of the church, where it wasn't until the 70s that you could even have black clergy or whatever they call them, but people in the priesthood. So they're very racist. The polygamy that they said was not just celestial, but here on earth. Like if you ever get rid of it, then you're teaching a false truth, which is why you have people who have broken off the FLDS, Fundamental Latter-day Saints. They've broken off because you look at these sermons from past presidents and the things that they're saying are like, if you're not practicing polygamy, then you're not Mormon here on earth. But all that from the bigamy. All that from the bigamy of
from the distinction of
ding dong daddy.
Bigamy and polygamy, that distinction. I mean, but those things are important to remember, because I guess I was kind of starting to fall into this, Mormons, look at all of his criminal record, that should be enough. But you make a good point in saying that's the less persuasive argument, right? Like it kind of does. It's just kind of more like for a Mormon to be sitting here and me to be going like, hey, I want to convince you that this is not true. To start using things like that, it's kind of like kids just poking at each other because they're just things that are like they're really, you know, it's like not really going anywhere. It's like saying like, oh well, your hair is ugly, and well, like, you know, just like pointing at things that are just kind of superficial. When in actuality, there's a much deeper conversation that is much more persuasive, and actually matters, because that conversation not only helps to discount, right, the Mormon beliefs, but it also helps to reinforce the Christian belief, right?
Oh yeah. And it's easy because even the critics of Jesus would always point at him and say, "But wait, you broke the law."
Yeah.
And I don't want to be guilty of pointing at Joseph Smith and saying, "But wait, you broke the law."
Yeah. Right.
Honestly, I'll just tell you this story, and you might say, "Oh, he broke the law." And be like, okay, like you come to that conclusion. The story itself speaks volumes. And you could just say like, okay, well, how did he write, the Book of Mormon? What happened? What's the history of that? You don't have to talk about, I don't even have to say he's a charlatan. I'll just tell you the story and you will see it.
Right.
You'll come to the conclusion that this guy putting tablets in a hat and going down with a seer stone and telling somebody to transcribe it, these golden tablets that nobody gets to see. And then when the person says he, quote unquote, lost the manuscripts because his wife told him to do it to test him, Joseph Smith says, well, the angel Moroni is pretty mad and he's not going to give it. He's not going to give me that testimony anymore. So anyways, here's a new one. Like, wait, what? And that's because he's not translating these golden tablets. He's putting his head in a hat and he's making things up or plagiarizing from the Bible itself.
Just putting his head
Is
in
that
a
why
hat.
magicians pull rabbits out of hats?
Oh my!
I think
It
it's the
all
other way around.
comes
I think he
back,
might have
JB.
used a hat because historically speaking, he was like that sort of charlatan, and he was using like doing hat tricks.
I think it was to like show
because it was
like,
already
to-
What's the
yeah.
influence on what?
so that the other people weren't seeing the tablets that he was like writing.
Well,
into and
he
stuff.
was known for also doing like hat trick con man stuff, using a hat like and putting
Yeah.
stuff in it,
And he
losing
was
it,
like
before all this started.
a water
Because he used to do the divining rod thing
Yeah.
and tell people like, you pay me this money or whatever, and I'll show you where a water source is for a well, and scam people out of their money. But
Wild.
yeah, I mean, but an interesting story in a very bad way.
Yeah.
But like just looking at all those
like looking
reports
at
against him, that was interesting.
Those reports against him, when we scroll down to like whether like what the outcome was of each of those trials for whatever it was, a lot of them were not guilty or acquitted.
Yeah,
Like
which is crazy.
the majority of them were that.
Yeah. Well, hard topic shift here, but Levi and I yesterday had a youth group event, and this is just something while we were doing it that I went, we should bring this up on the podcast, because I feel like Matt would think it's cool because we did a youth group event and he doesn't know how it went yet. But I just felt while we were doing this, like this seems right in Hunter's wheelhouse.
Yep.
Like he would appreciate what we did. So you're seeing on the screen, and the people probably are now as well.
Yep.
You're seeing on the screen, yesterday we had, first I should say, we advertised this as an end of summer barbecue. And then ended up having nachos. But somebody in the church said, hey, you should do an event at our house. We've got a pool and a bunch of fun yard games in a big area. Have the youth group out and do an event. And so we did an end of summer barbecue pool party. And then it was decided later, hey, instead of doing a grill, why don't we have nachos? And then when we got there, she goes, hey, I was just thinking, because I'll say her name, Laura Pemble. She's like got a lot of great ideas, and she just wants to like do fun things and wanted to offer to
She
do fun
watches our
things.
podcast as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. So Laura,
yeah.
we got to tell you again, thank you so much. Laura, you're listening. I forgot that she does. But she is wonderful, and like her family, all of them went to, all the kids went to the school, and they used to do big events at their house. And so she was talking about how like they don't do that anymore. So it seems kind of like this is also a way where they kind of can do that kind of thing again.
and we were talking, and it came up 1 year for some party. It was me, a bunch of guys from my class, and one of those guys was her son. So we were at her house. It was some kind of, I don't know if it was a birthday or not.
I think she said it was Carson's birthday.
I think it was Carson's birthday, but he wanted spaghetti without plates or utensils.
Okay.
So we took the dining room table and we put saran wrap over the top, and then she just slopped down spaghetti,
Like a huge
and then
amount.
we just portioned it out. and then we all took off of our shirts and just face into the spaghetti.
Just a
And
bunch
we're
of
just
fourth
eating.
graders, like.
I think that we may have been middle school. It might have been like fifth or sixth or something around their grade.
Because
But,
she was
like,
saying it was like right before I showed up.
yeah. I like thinking back. I think it was like around that time. But we it was a lot of fun. Like we were just hand-folding like spaghetti and like getting
Just
it
like
all over
monsters.
stuff. We all just looked like, toddlers when we were done because it was just everywhere.
Yeah.
Like
So she
because
had an
that's just the
idea
way
in
it
that
was.
same vein, being like,
Yeah.
you've got the youth group here. She goes, my plan was, you could all from the pool go walk down there into the house and come get your nachos. She goes, or we could set up a big table of nachos, like in the same vein as the spaghetti,
yes.
right? And I'm like, and we're all like, because it's Perry, Jacob, Levi, and I beforehand, talking. Okay, well, yeah, we could. And I was like, my first thought was doing things like that, like the Orbeez battle, because I'm usually this type of person that's like, it just sounds like a lot of moving pieces and ways that things could go wrong. Let's not do it. But immediately when I hear that, I was like,
The reason to do it.
it's such a youth group thing, right? Like youth groups, because then what if the kids come, there's a pool, there's some yard games, cool, fun. And they have some fun, but they go home and their parents are like, did you have fun? It's like, yeah, we swam and played yard games. It's like, but you can do that anywhere. But now the kids got to go home and be like, we all had a table of nachos. Like it's such a youth group thing. So we were talking about not doing it though, because it's like, what if hornets show up, right? And like then the girls that show up
Yellow
won't want to
Jackets
eat
coming
it.
around,
Yeah.
or like the
girls
the
and other
sun
people,
rebakes
Girls
it,
what?
Girls and other people.
And other
people
people,
too.
right,
Other people
right.
too.
We just said, but you're right. But I mentioned that because one of the deciding factors,
I eat them.
Yeah. The deciding factor was that like the guys might not care about that as much.
Yeah.
They might just be so enamored because also the guys are going to be more enamored by this anyway. They'll be distracted by it. Like the Hornets, whatever, because they're just so enamored in this cool thing that we're doing. And so we were kind of leaning towards not doing it. But then all the students showed up and it was just 6 guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No girls showed up. Not that we wouldn't have done it or anything. I'm not saying that there's a problem with the girls.
I've made it a problem on accident.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no. It's just that we knew and the guys that are here, like
Yeah.
they're gonna love this. And
Yeah.
so I went back in and Laura's like, so what do you think? Did you come to a decision yet? Like, are we doing it or are we not? Because I told her I would ask the students and I didn't. And I was like, and one of the students' moms was there and her being like, it would like her kind of giving her approval. Like if she thought it would be fun, I went, okay, if a mom doesn't think like it's a bad idea, a mom of one of the students here, because obviously Laura is, I was like, that helped. And I was already coming in basically to say, let's do it. And I went, all right, we're doing it. So then she's like, great. Oh, we don't have a lot of saran wrap. How about foil? So we go, and Levi and I, strips
we're
of
putting
foil.
strips of tinfoil down,
And the
it's
sun is like,
oh, it's good. Like it's not really bright, and then I look
From
at
the-
that angle that
yeah.
the sun bounces off.
And it's just
Blinding.
blinding.
Because it's not just like a mere reflection of the sun. The entire thing just lit up, and like my face was just like
I looked,
shown
I
like
was standing from the other
Moses.
side and I watched as he's assumed this position and his whole face just started glowing.
Planes are just circling about.
We saw an SOS signal. What's going on? But then we started pouring it. So that's 2 whole bags. Can you zoom in? Shibs?
Kirkland.
Oh,
Of the
signature?
Kirkland signature,
signature,
those good nacho ones.
but it's
like,
the big Costco,
Yeah.
Kirkland bags.
Oh,
and so
man.
we dumped out 2 whole bags of these, and then we start just globbing on refried beans, black beans, the whole deal, and
2 bags of cheese,
Cheese.
just
yeah, and at this point
onions,
we're doing
avocado.
Did you eat it?
So yeah, we did not eat it all. We at this point there were only 6. Now Jim's hungry. Don't worry. So at this point, we're making this in front of the kids, so they're seeing it and they're like. But when we first started laying out the foil, one of the kids comes up and he's like, "Oh, that's for nachos," and we're like he just figured it out. But then that same kid later was like, "This isn't what I thought we were doing. This is crazy." So then it was like, okay, do we want to have them just grab some and put it on a plate and walk? And then I went, no. We've got enough room at this table.
It's few enough kids. That
This is family dinner.
Yeah.
So we all, I don't have a picture of that because like the kids are in it and stuff, so we won't put it up. But we are all sitting around this table, just sitting there, and it's like, all
the
right,
kids
let's
are
pray,
just like
go, and they're just.
putting like handfuls together. Oh.
Yeah,
But it was great. It was fun. They ate a lot of it, and then it got down to where there was just 2 guys left, and they're like, we're gonna finish this, and there's like half of it left.
Literally, they're not.
But they're like,
more than half was
we
still
are
left.
gonna finish this. What was that?
My phone.
Oh, okay.
Let's all draw attention to it. They're like, we're gonna finish this, and dude, they ate a lot. Like
They did.
I think when it was all said and done, there was only a third of it left, probably.
Wow.
Crazy.
And then there was a kid that wasn't gonna come to the event.
Yeah.
and because he had soccer practice, which one of the other kids skipped for this event. But that kid was like, well, I'm gonna be showing up so late, like it's not worth it. And I think his mom or one of the other people was
One
like,
of the other
"There's
kids was like, hey,
a
do you want to
table full of nachos?"
Yeah, he was.
And
He
so
was
showed
like,
up.
he was like, "Do you want to come over after soccer practice?" And he's like, "No." And then they were like, "We have an entire table of nachos. Like the literal table is full of nachos."
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he showed up, and then that was great because the two guys that were trying to finish it, we're all just watching them, and they're like, dude, he's
It was so funny. He's sitting there
trying
like,
not to throw up.
sweats.
and like and then all of a sudden he makes this like massive stack,
Like triple stacker nacho.
a triple
just
stack,
like,
and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have this," and we're like, "All right, bud," and he's like, "No, yeah, I've got this," and
and there's a moment where he goes, and then we all start dying because
We
it's
all
like
start
he's so
dying.
confident, then gets it close to his mouth and goes,
I can't do it.
it was great. But no,
he
those,
did get it all in his mouth.
those
in one bite.
guys
It was
were just
incredible.
having a hard time, and then it was like the
Took him a while to
reinforcements
swallow
showed up because then the
Yeah.
kid that wasn't going to come that did, he's like, they're like, all right, you can eat nachos. He's like, I'm here for the nachos. Jumps in.
awesome.
So then it's the three of them eating it, and then they start. They're like, okay, well, there's got to be strategies. Like, what do those guys do that eat like those huge meals to win T-shirts
Yeah,
do? And I was telling him like, well, water,
Dunk
a
it
lot
in
of
water.
water, and then or just drinking a lot of water with it, and then section it off. So like, okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, so the progression is going to be how we do it. So we're going to eat this section, and then I'll make it feel like we actually did something. So then we'll eat this section. But then they ended up bailing on that and like splitting it into thirds, and it was great. So when it was all said and done, then we're like, we only had 3 hours for the event. We started eating at like 6:15,
Yeah.
and we're going till 8. And I'm like, okay, well, this won't take too long. But because this became an event, like them trying to finish it, it's like 7:30 almost. I'm like, we still have to we're going to do this like donut game where they're hanging and you got to eat it without your hand, without using your hands. And then we were going to do root beer floats and stuff. And so these kids are just gorging themselves. And there's 2 more things left on the docket
food-related
that are food
activities,
related. Yeah. These poor kids. So then I'm like, all right, sorry guys. I'm going to move the table. And at this point it was just the guy that came in as reinforcements eating. And I'm like, are you done? He's like, no, I'm still eating. I'm like, well, we're going to move the table because the donut string is hanging above you. And we're going to do this thing. And just before that, the 2 that had been like, who were really hurting, were walking away legit like just old men, just like waddling like, oh man.
Nacho waddle.
I was like, all right, you guys, we're gonna do a donut thing, and he's like, oh, and they still. Well, one of them did. The one that was really hurting, he still did the donut thing. I actually got a great picture of him doing it. I have to send to his parents. He's like, this moment where this donut's hanging on a string, and he's got his hands behind his back, and he's like, just going. Like trying to grab it, and I got a picture of him right then. It's very funny. It's
awesome.
But yeah, so here, if you need an idea, if you haven't done it before,
Yeah.
because you've got a youth group.
Yeah, we have not done this. Every Thanksgiving we do like a weird food.
Yeah.
type. Like we did mashed potatoes last year, so we had a big trough of mashed.
Whoa.
And then they could put all sorts of stuff in and around it. And,
Nice.
But this is awesome. Yeah, this is gonna definitely hit the table at some point.
I think you should do the spaghetti one.
I was just gonna
will.
say
Dude, the spaghetti one, that was so much fun.
I think we will.
It was incredibly messy. We all had to like shower.
I think the
afterwards, but-
spaghetti is just inspiring too. Like it.
Yeah.
That's just. It seems like that might be one of the least spread it out on a table foods that exists. And
Because this one, even in its inception, like thinking of it, it kind of makes
Right.
sense.
Right.
Because it's like, it's basically just taking how you eat nachos and putting it big.
Yeah.
But the spaghetti one, inspiring
Yeah.
in this way, it's like, well, how can I think of ways to make this wacky?
Yes.
Right. So like, we're talking soup, right?
Yeah.
You know,
just a big kiddie pool full of soup.
A kiddie pool of soup.
get in,
Everybody gets a boba straw.
I got something chunky, and I know I'm supposed to, but I don't think what I got I'm supposed to get. Yeah, or I don't know what else. Like
We did
big
ice
root
cream
beer float.
sundaes in a big long
Nice.
like gutter.
the banana split thing.
Yeah.
I've done
yeah,
that.
yeah. We did that one time.
The Pembles did that one time at their house. I remember giant banana split, and
Yeah.
it was like everybody gets a section.
Yep.
Yeah. Then that is so much work.
Yeah, it sure was.
And you've got to like time it right.
yeah,
'Cause the
it
ice
does.
cream?
Yeah,
Because
it-
the ice cream will melt.
and the nice thing is it's a gutter, so then you have like this weird like milkshake
Yeah,
banana
yeah,
slurry.
You put it on a hill, so then the guy at the end just gets liquid.
That's you like, all right, kids,
then
whatever you don't eat.
Stick a big like 5-gallon right at the bottom, and so it's just dripping down.
yeah.
And then
And then root beer floats.
It's like the
That's
guy in
it.
the back in tug of war,
Yeah.
except you're just with your mouth open at the end of the gutter.
Game on.
So
it's mostly not saliva.
I don't think I have to tell you then. What I was going to say is the only thing that we ran into that like kind of made this not work, but kind of gross was that you then have, when you're eating nachos, sometimes like stuff's not going to make it all the way in. So you like put your face over the plate, so it falls in.
Yeah.
So then we had some guys that were
There
doing
was,
that.
There was
and
a
then
guy
it's like,
that was doing that, and then like he
it's
would
like,
do
okay,
it. And then,
nobody grab these nachos because it's like, dude, that was your section. Yeah.
Dig out that area
But,
for yourself.
like we had been joking about because there's different sections that had different like toppings on
Yeah.
it. And so we were like, oh, we'll just Mad Hatter, like have the kids like swap. But then like once they started
No,
going,
once
it was
they
like,
start,
everybody
no.
stand and
Probably not.
rotate.
Yeah. Who wants onions? Rotate over, And then you had the psychopaths that were like, this one looks good. Oh, that one all the way across the table. I'm going to reach for that one.
That might have probably would have been me.
It would-
Yeah,
I say
I was gonna
psychopaths,
say,
but it was-
And then we also had a kid that was like, he's eating all this stuff, and then somebody like puts their hand to grab right directly underneath him because he had been saving this chip
good stuff.
with all of the toppings like perfectly on there.
someone's like,
it
"Ooh."
was picture perfect piece, and he's just like. He reaches over underneath to grab it. And he's like, no. And he has to like quickly eat it before somebody else grabbed it because he had been saving
Yeah.
like these.
You gotta
These
protect
bites.
what's yours.
So long story short,
it was
it
very
was fun. We
Yeah.
just wanted to share it. Seemed like something, Matt, we are making youth group more fun.
Oh yeah, I love it.
The entire
And,
container of jalapenos fell onto the grass.
No, I didn't. It was just like a quarter of it, but because we still used them. But like
Wait,
it was
you still use them?
not the ones that fell
No,
on the
the
grass.
ones that
I'm
the
saying
ones that had
because
been,
they
like,
didn't all
taken
fall out.
but it did like
It's
by the
youth
end
group.
of it.
You
If-
use them.
Well, then one of the students like, where's the jalapeno fork? Oh, it's on the ground. Picks it up with some of the jalapenos on it and like, here you go. Puts them in the nachos. Yep. Those were on the ground. But yeah, it was fun. Perry and I were talking about it on the way home. Like,
It's freshly cut grass, so it's okay.
like even though it was this kind of messy thing or whatever, it ended up going really well.
That's awesome.
And that some of them kind of were grossed out, but still took part in it.
That's exactly how you want it.
Yeah, it was this thing that like it ended up making every part, even dinner, interesting.
That's
and so
awesome.
it gave this thing that then the kids can go home and tell their parents like, yeah, we did have fun and we did this crazy thing.
We did
So,
have it a little bit too close to the pool. And there was a point when they
Some pool
started
water did
splashing each
splash.
other.
But it
and
was
one of the
barely
kids
any.
like did a big one, and it just
this no.
it did pepper it with.
Yeah, I mean, it was like barely any water actually got on.
But it
the-
was so funny because then we're just like, bro.
Then
And
later
he
when
ended
they're
up-
like,
he ended
"These
up
chips are
sitting
soggy," we're like,
where
well-
the water hit. Like
Yeah.
he actually
it
did
worked
end
out.
up sitting there.
That kid got that.
awesome.
But no, we had, and then we did the donut thing, and that was funny. And we were telling them like, all right, so first person to finish the donut wins. And then of course, like, well, what do we win? Nothing. And so the mom that was there was like, well, we're gonna have root beer float, so you get orange soda for yours, which there was enough for everybody to have whichever they wanted. But she's like, well, you can have the orange soda. And so one of the kids goes, I have to win because I don't like root beer. And he won. Dude, when all the other kids are maybe halfway done with their donut, he's like, I'm done. Like, it was very funny.
That's awesome.
But
wow.
yeah, so there's that. Let's move right
We'll give
along.
you a budget for prizes, so you can
Okay.
get a big old thing. Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually something that some of the youth group leaders were talking about. We want to do. We want to have more things that kind of make our youth group have its own charm. Because sometimes you hear kids be like, "Oh, dude, at my youth group, we do this thing where like if you show up late, you have to put your head in a bucket of slime or whatever. Like something that makes your thing."
Oh, yeah.
We had Megan had an idea where Megan and
Branding.
Shay branding. Yeah. Megan and Shay suggested branding.
yeah.
No, if you bring a friend and it's like the first time they've come to the youth group, then you get a prize, and the prize will just be this weird little like find little toy chickens and then paint
Yeah.
them bronze so it
Yeah,
looks like a
like-
trophy,
like
but it just like
chicken
some
trophies.
chicken because that sounds weird and like
Goofy and
what
fun.
does your youth group do for fun? Well, we give out chickens if you bring out if you bring a friend. So all right, we're way into this, and here's our intro hypothetical. You guys ready? If King Solomon, known for his wisdom, were transported to the 21st century, what modern dilemma do you think he would find most baffling? Charcuterie boards. No, that's not a modern dilemma. I was just thinking nachos still. Dude, man, now I want some nachos. They are not ruined for me.
Pretty much always want them.
Yeah, nachos are good. Oh, yeah. Last time you were talking about the Nacho Bel Grande. Since your episode, tried it. Not bad.
It's yeah.
But just so you know, the Taco Bell value meal or the value menu nacho, we've tried them both. We think that one's better.
The dip.
No.
that the dippers?
There's just a, the value menu that's like $1 or $2. They have one on there called like the beefy loaded nachos.
Really?
And I think it has better toppings on it than the Nacho Bel Grande, and it's cheaper.
I'm gonna have to look that. I'm gonna have to get into that.
But
Maybe after
side,
this.
Interesting.
side tangent. What modern dilemma? Probably Nacho debates is what he would find most
Yeah.
baffling. Yeah, what modern dilemma is King Solomon finding most baffling? I got to fix my headphones while you guys talk.
Ooh, mine's are dancing like dude.
Quantum mechanics and Newtonian physics.
Whoa.
Are yours still working?
Deep.
Yes. Okay.
Quantum.
I mean,
well, yeah.
that would
Okay.
be the
Other
most
than just
confusing.
other than just current understandings, maybe of scientific.
like-
but like, it's a modern dilemma, right? So, I don't know, transgenderism, like these sorts of.
like it's gotta
Did
be
we
like
land on the
probably between like
That's a modern dilemma. The debate of,
transgender and abortion, because like there were
that's
like
it.
child sacrifice and stuff.
I don't
that,
think
like they were having to deal with.
So I don't think abortion would baffle him, right? Because it's like a known thing already. He's just like, well, maybe it would baffle him. He's like, people are just doing this
Out in
for-
the open?
Yeah, well,
Like for
right, but it was happening
for
like,
convenience
historically.
sake.
That's the altar they're sacrificing them on. The altar of convenience.
Well, sure, yeah, but like
That's my favorite way of thinking of it. Not
Oh,
that I
yeah,
like to think about abortion, but
That's-
I
yeah.
will always refer to it as the sacrifice. Like it's still just what was going on back in the day. They're just sacrificing to it.
but like you're not even getting anything out of it, because like
were they then?
I mean they were having the idea of like, oh, this is gonna like
gonna get
help
your
the
crops.
fields.
Yeah, and they're
didn't.
getting the idea of that it would, but they weren't. Were they really getting it though? Is my point. Like,
To Levi's point, I actually think like those people misled into thinking like Moloch was going to, bring them rain. Many of whom, so they'd play these big drums
Yeah, yeah.
so that you couldn't hear the wailing of the parents.
Right.
So it was a sacrifice that hurt, to give the Avengers, which, I know that Bill Maher doesn't like this.
Bill, yeah,
When Thanos sacrifices Gamora, right? Because
Yeah.
it's got to cost something. I actually think what's baffling is that so many people don't feel like there is a sacrifice because there's no actual attachment. That they're so disassociated from what they're doing. It's not a sacrifice of anything but a protoplasmic clump of cells, right, in their mind. And so to me, it's at least the parents sacrificing to Moloch were sad.
Right.
That's their child. And they were doing it because they thought it required such tremendous sacrifice to save their field. It was
Right.
dumb. It was stupid. It was a false god, right? Probably demonic. I'm gonna just say definitely demonic.
yeah.
And I think he's only gotten better. Whatever demon of Moloch there is has only gotten better because now he has so thoroughly convinced people to disassociate from the actual sorrow of the sacrifice that now millions of children are sacrificed on this altar, but now done so without a single care in the world, and encourages others to do it, right? And that people need to be empowered to do it. It's liberating to do it. And so I think the whole dynamic has changed to the point where it's so easy to look back and say, ugh,
Yeah,
I can't believe
yeah,
they
yeah.
would do that. And yet I think we do it so much more efficiently and freely now, right? Where,
Yeah, no, Levi, I didn't give enough credit. That's right. That's a good. So there is a dilemma to that Solomon I think would be surprised by.
Yeah.
That there's because in my head I was just thinking like, well, they were doing the action already, but given the mode in which they're doing it and the
It's literally just
emotion,
worse now.
It's just yes, it is worse now. But I just mean like that would probably baffle him to think that like, oh, there's been no progress in this. It's only degraded. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like to just pick the hot button ones, I guess, like that one and this idea that people were again like self-mutilating for
we
this
should
idea
ask
that
him, like, when he gets here, he'll be so surprised by the question, right? I can imagine Matt Walsh walking up to him saying, King Solomon,
What is a woman?
What is a woman?
And he's just like,
100%.
He's like, why? What
do you mean?
Why is this a question?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. So I think
That's the dilemma is like, wait, what?
he
that's
has to
kinda what
sit there,
Matt Walsh
he has
is
to,
always saying.
like watch that movie, and he's like, this is the dumbest thing in the world.
Well, he's
I
going to be
don't-
like, they have not progressed. If
yes,
this is,
we have slowly.
This is like such a regression because it would be like asking those African tribe
yeah,
people.
that's what I was gonna say. In the movie, he does that.
Yeah.
He goes to these people that live in Africa,
And they
he
just
asks them,
laugh
and they
at
just
him.
laugh. Like that's
Yeah.
the point. That it's such a ridiculous, basic thing that we've come to. That's kind of what he's always saying, Matt Walsh, is that like, they're like, why are we so far, and yet now we're going all the way back to this basic thing. But I guess that kind of gets to the root of something that is so like festered in our culture. Is just this idea, like it's even festered into our media. Like it's at the crux of all of our media is this idea that what if we take the basic things that work, the basic truths. It's like when in filmmaking now, it's like, what if we take the basic truths of filmmaking, the things that we know work, and what if we just ask questions about them, right? It's kind of like that's what's at the root of so much of the world nowadays is like, even with that, what is a woman? Like, what if the whole world is focused on this question of this basic truth of humanity, and we start really making it a discussion, and then all of these horrible things are coming out of it. But I definitely think that would be. Anybody got any others? Any modern dilemmas? That,
What do you think you would think about like road rage? Like because people are getting
the modern dilemma.
Well, like
I think he'd intuit it pretty quick. He'd be like, all right, this
but
seems
like also
frustrating.
like seeing the extreme like speeds that we're able
yeah,
to
that's
attain,
true.
the massive distances that we're able to travel, like basically instantly compared to what it had been like for so long. Like you're getting so worked up about like going to entirely different cities,
Right.
or countries at sometimes, like if you're going like talking about Europe, but like people just like getting in like a couple 10-minute like riffs of like,
Right.
oh, I can't get
That's what I always think about when somebody gets mad at me on the road and they just like speed past me or whatever, and then they're right in front of me the rest of the drive. I'm always like, did it feel good? Like, that moment where I didn't cut you off, but you just wanted to get ahead of me and then couldn't, and then did, and then flipped me off and gave me an angry face to just spend the next 30 minutes just one car in front of me. Like, does it feel like that's? I feel like
I
that simple.
also
Like,
love when somebody does
outcome was
that.
the
Like
same.
they go into the other lane and speed past you,
Yeah.
and then you just go by them
Yeah.
slowly in your lane,
Yeah.
and then they switch into your
and
lane.
you don't look at them. You never give them.
no.
Yeah, I just like I never. I don't know.
You
I just
definitely
like
look at them.
no.
No, you don't. You don't.
Byron.
Hardcore go look at him. You're like this. Hi.
No.
No. Oh, yeah.
Because you're
You
still
don't-
feeding into their. Because then
you don't want to get hit by them.
Because all they want, Byron, is to be seen. I'm not going to give them even that.
You know what?
All they want
Isn't
is to
it
be
a
seen.
basic human right to
My
be seen?
headphones are just jacked up right now. Isn't it a fundamental human right to be seen? They're like, you're robbing me of my fundamental human rights. No, I don't give them the satisfaction. Literally yesterday, I was driving, and this guy there's a stretch of road from Devonshire to Silverton on Lancaster, where you're pulling out like by Devonshire is the one with Walmart.
Yeah.
Silverton, you're not a Salem guy, sorry.
Oh yeah, I used to live up here.
Oh yeah.
I
Okay.
remember
So
that.
that little section, it's not a quarter mile, right? Not even.
Yeah.
And he's behind me in the turn lane. We turn, and then I get over to the right because I'm going to need to be in the right very soon to turn onto Silverton. And I start going the speed limit, a little above it, but the speed limit to get up and quickly get to it so that I can get to the green light. And he's gunning it, but then there's a car in front of him, so he doesn't get to get over. And he looks at me so angry, and then gets behind me because he has to. And I knew what he was doing, so the whole time, I just didn't look at him. And the Perry's like, did you see that guy trying to get over? I was like, yes. But like, he didn't need to. And I just did everything that I normally would have done, and he wasn't. It's a bummer for the guy, right?
It's a bummer.
And then I turn, he turns onto Silverton as well, and then immediately gets over in, because now I got a long stretch, just passes me, but just fast enough that he can look at me, and I know he's looking at me, and kind of waiting so that he wants that moment of the like, I want you to know that I'm mad at you and that I won. And it's like, I want him to know that it was never even a competition for me. It's beneath me.
and you won.
And so really I won. Because it was.
I don't even know who you are.
Yeah, the Thanos moment.
Yeah,
You brought up
yeah.
Thanos. I had one for this, like actual one I thought was interesting, and now I don't remember it. We're so off into the weeds. I had one that I was like, oh yeah, I think this would. Cancel culture. This idea that like everyone's going to agree that we all hate this man. I wonder if he'd be like, why don't we just kill them then? It's like, why do you guys waste your energy all
Just
thinking
exile or
this
kill him.
guy's the worst? He'd just be like, we just kill people like that. Like, that's what
Send them into the wilderness without their phone.
send them into the wilderness.
I'm gonna ask him a lot of marriage questions.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna be like, "This isn't my strong suit."
Or he might be like, this is
So
really
you know
my
that
strong
polygamy
suit.
is like like
It's a serious issue.
it's a serious like illegal thing in our country now.
He'd see that story of Joseph Smith and be like, you guys arrested him for that?
Well, it wasn't right for him.
Ding
either,
dong
though.
daddy?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
no, it wasn't.
No,
I'm just
no.
saying.
Deuteronomy 17, especially to the kings, dude, I might know it. It might be Deuteronomy 17:17. I don't. It sounds right.
We've
but it
got a
might be
producer to
wrong.
look it up in case.
Yeah, Deuteronomy. But don't multiply wives unto yourself. Talking to the kings. And yet,
Isn't that you can just add it?
what
You
was
can
that?
just add them one
Nice.
by one.
Math
You can't
joke.
multiply.
Yep, that's what God was saying.
That I mean,
Don't do something
Am
impossible.
I right? Deuteronomy 17:17.
We've got Bibles here.
I know, but I really want to be right.
So let's find out.
He's gonna be like, it's Deuteronomy 4:11.
Deuteronomy
17.
17.
17.
17.
Come on.
Oh, it's up and up.
The king must not take many wives for himself because they will turn his heart away from the Lord.
Oh, well done. And he must not accumulate large amounts of wealth.
Yeah, so Solomon broke both of these.
Both
so-
of those.
That's rough. 2 for
Yeah,
1.
yeah, yeah.
And that was like what he is most known for is having like the 300 wives and 700 concubines and then having the insane amount of wealth more than like any other man.
But then,
And the wisdom, I guess.
But God said, "Ask for one thing, and I will give it to you." And He asked for wisdom, and then God said, "I will give you because you asked for wisdom. I will also give you wealth and power and stuff like that." But then, does that break the rule there of don't?
No, because it says don't
gold?
accumulate for yourself.
yourself.
But if God gives it
But
to
if
you.
God gives it to you,
right?
then it's fine.
Yeah. So did He break both of them? Or just one?
No.
I'm
That's
sure
good.
that also,
yeah,
I'm
that's
sure
a good
that
point.
also
That's good.
God
that seems like-
gave him wisdom, and then like with that wisdom, he would gain a different level of like, because we can't be tempted beyond what we can bear, right? So if that like put him into a different like tax category for the amount of temptation,
A temptation category?
yeah,
Temptation tax category.
Bracket?
you know,
Yeah.
like a different
He was
tax
definitely in a
bracket,
different
but he's
tax
like in a
bracket.
different temptation bracket, like versus
That's
other
an
people.
interesting. It's a
because he can
gamified way
see
of looking at it.
Well, I'm just like trying to break it down.
I
Like
think
God
what you're
has
saying
these-
is that
So-
because there was so much more resources in his life, he faced temptation to a greater degree than someone who had $5 in their
When
pocket.
it comes to materialism,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
but like, but also having like the wisdom and like because he was the most wise man, you know.
He was most wise man.
Yeah, he was most wise man. So like, but having that
extra
like,
most best.
extra most bestest
The goodest.
of wisdom.
We got it. He had a wisdom, he had a wisdom of 22.
Yeah. But like having that, like, do you think that like caused him to be in like different temptation like zones than like?
Temptation. I see what you're saying.
But like,
Like to assume that that's how it works.
Like he could bear more.
yeah,
Because
like
he
he could bear more, but
certainly.
then he also failed
Because I'm sure the temptation
as
of
much as, like, other
$1,000 to him is nothing than it is for us, right? Like $1,000 to me, if that's a temptation, I'm like, that's going to be difficult because $1,000 sounds nice. But like that level for him, then
and with inflation, you know.
and we,
But that's why he lost the game of temptation with women
Yeah.
because the money wasn't there, but the women were.
what?
What?
Oh, I'm tracking.
Yeah. Picking up what he's putting down.
Yeah.
Fell off turnip truck back there.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be interested if you can
Pass her
remember
down
what-
reference.
oh no, that was yours.
What?
You said it earlier about cancel culture.
Oh yeah, cancel culture was mine. I think it would he'd be like, why don't you kill them?
I'm gonna go way off weeds. The debate and the controversy of did we land on the moon? You'd be like, why does it even matter if we landed on the moon or not? But also be like, they told you that you did. Just believe it. Why are you
Yeah.
all these conspiracy theories.
Or he'd be like,
Or he'd
there's
be
no
like-
way anyone ever could.
There's no way you could ever
There's
do
no
that.
Why are you even considering
Like,
it?
it's cheese. What were they standing on?
Is that a biblical? That's where that came from back in the day.
Solomon brought up. It's in one of the texts that isn't in the Bible.
Didn't make the cut.
yeah, that didn't make the cut. That like he brought up the cheese thing,
He's like, I'm pretty sure.
and then
it's
conspiracy
cheese.
theorists like read it somewhere, and then they were like, "It's cheese."
What's up?
Right at time.
Has she started? I don't know. I'm supposed to text her,
Has she started?
Do we want starting?
but I wasn't going to text her yet because Ecclesiastes 4:9 through 12.
Speaking of Solomon,
So this season we've had a theme, right? And I actually already brought it up. It's in the show doc. Sorry, Shibble. But okay. Well, we've had a theme, verse or scripture this season, and what I wanted to do with you guys today is, this was supposed to be the meat of discussion, but we've had a lot already, so I'm not really worried about that now. But we set out from the beginning when planning this season to kind of go, what if we ensure that we have some direction, and this will help us, not something just to fall back on when we feel lost and don't know what we're going to talk about, but more than that, we wanted this to be a through line throughout the whole season. And I don't know if we did a good job. At the beginning, we tried our best to be like, oh, hey, we're talking about something that doesn't necessarily seem related, but we can see how this relates to our theme. And then it kind of fell off for a while. But the last few episodes or so, Levi and I have tried to bring it back up. And this is it's an important part of scripture. We've said it's important because it really gets to the root of what we're trying to excuse me, I'm sorry. I need a cough button like Mike Winger. It gets to the root of like Christian influence as a whole, right? Like so much of what we're trying to do with this ministry is encourage people to not be isolated and alone, but for the right reasons, right? For it to be centered and founded on Christ. And I think that we pointed this out in the last episode, there's something really beautiful that God has done, which is for Levi and I especially, but Levi, Byron, and I, and just our group kind of, this podcast is kind of at the center of our lives in a lot of ways. This is something that we do almost weekly. A lot of our lives is kind of presented on this podcast. And so it's cool that God has given us this thing that's kind of very intertwined into our lives. And then this season we decided like, let's make this a theme. And I think more now than ever, but it's been very prominent, the truth of this in our lives. So that like, it's been exemplified. That's what I meant to say. I was looking for the word. Exemplified very prominently in our lives. Because Levi and I have this situation with Jarrett that came to this spearhead, right? Where this guy who we prayed for like 10 years and known for so long, and the whole way in which we decided that we're going to try and reach him with the gospel was founded on this, like we're going to reach him as a friend and like be a friend to him and show him that friendship matters and the right friends matter and all that stuff. And without even really realizing it, like, boom, like here is that like exemplified so well in what it says. So does somebody want to read it? Byron? Sorry, just kidding. Do you want to read it?
No.
Okay. That was mean. I'm sorry. I'll just read it. 9 through 12, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Also, if 2 lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? Though one may be overpowered, 2 can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. So, I don't know. I guess thoughts, analysis, things in this that jump out to you, things in your life that ways in which that you've seen this applied. I don't know. What are your thoughts, men?
What are times that we've seen this applied?
Sure. I mean,
in our lives?
anything. Like I did some work ahead of time to have some discussion questions if we needed those to fall back on. But talking to Levi, it was like, we probably don't need them. I mean, I talked to you, Hunter, and you were talking about preaching out of Ecclesiastes, and if nothing else, there's just like lots of ways that the reason I said ways that we've seen it applied, because there's lots of ways recently that Levi and I have just seen this applied in our lives.
Yeah, because we had talked about like with the whole Jarrett situation, not just him seeing him alone, and then when he falls and like people around him like leave him, and then us coming there to help pick him back up, but also between me and Jerry
Yes.
in our relationship with Jarrett when one of us was like, man, was it a good idea to have him around? And then the other one picks the other one up. Like,
Yeah.
no, this is what God wanted.
Right.
And we see that evidently now with how God has like been there the whole time and radically changed Jarrett's life. So it can be applied in like more than just like seeing someone fall down, but like also in like those around him,
Yeah.
like us picking each other up, like based on how God has been leading us.
Right.
When we don't directly hear from God in that moment or have doubts or just deal with some like negative thoughts in our minds. Because like being echo chambered, like it's a good way of whittling yourself down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think previous in this chapter, he talks kind of about that loneliness. Like he speaks to, it's awful that we look out and there's these people who they seem to be alone. There seems to be no justice for them. In some of the worst cases, they die alone. And that this is kind of the culmination where he, addresses that even in this life, two are better than one. There's an actual tangible benefit to community, and in this case, like brotherhood with Jarrett. And, he's writing from a pretty dark place a lot of times in Ecclesiastes.
Yeah.
And so you get these little windows of like wisdom and hope. And
In the Christian world, this oftentimes gets sort of pushed into only speaking about marriage.
Yeah.
And
that
it's
threefold cord.
right. And
Yeah.
of course, this is so much bigger than that. It's talking about community. It's talking about brotherhood, sisterhood. It's talking about friendship. It's talking about companionship and what that means. And as someone who, is a pastor and a chaplain and I deal with young people a lot, it's, surrounding yourself with right people.
Yeah.
And so inherent in this is the right person.
Yeah.
Right? Because two are better than one in the sense of you have someone who labors with you. And it's why the Bible probably gives in sort of the full counsel of Scripture, do not be unequally yoked. And that's because you're actually not sharing in the labor. The yoke was what went over the oxen. And if you had a big one and a small one, then it only rested on one person's shoulders or one ox's shoulders. And so only one was doing the work of two. And in fact, was pulling the weight of the other person. And so it's really important like that you do have, for instance, the real strength of you guys, in your relationship with Jarrett was, you're friends with Jarrett, but that your companionship, because you were sharing in the labor.
That's what I was going to bring up. Like when I was rereading this and I was considering it, we had talked about it within the context of the Jarrett situation and said like, we saw this work because of the friendship element with him. But when I was rereading this in preparation for this discussion, that's the thing that stood out to me was that, when it says, two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor, I was thinking like, God gave us a task, a labor to do. And I went, dude, I wasn't doing it alone. And we talked about that when Jarrett was here. I was like, Levi, I have to thank you because the number of times where I felt like, this is this thing that I have to do. And then I went, oh, wait, no. And Byron, you were a part of that too. I bring up Levi specifically just to say that, because it was in those early days when we were all living together that Levi and I were like doing this together. But later on, I know we've had discussions about it as well. And especially within the D&D group. But like, early on going, man, this is just overwhelming. I feel like quitting. I feel like not praying for him anymore, or just deciding, he's too far gone, and all that, and knowing that, nope, I'm in this, and Levi agrees, right? And then there were times where you didn't, like you said, and I had to be like, no, I really think that this is what God is saying, so that's the thing that stood out to me most. So I'm glad you brought that up, Matt. That as Christians, we have a lot of work to do, but it doesn't mean that we have to do it alone, that we shouldn't, right? The good return for labor is together. No, you're good. I asked Shibbles to do something because I figured, you know what? Even if there's a little flicker from the fan, it will be worth it because it is getting sweaty in here.
Yeah. It's getting a little bit toast.
It was getting sweaty about 20 minutes in.
It
It just is sweaty now.
Yeah.
No longer getting. But
I want you guys to gleam like me.
I can see the gleam coming off of Matt right now.
yeah.
I mean, that's
It's
not just
beginning to
from
look-
the aloe anymore.
Cool you down?
Does it just give you coolness?
I mean,
Sure.
that's the point.
Is it like icy hot?
Yeah, sure, dude. It feels like it's just going to give you.
It's just the
I should
hot.
be able to smell the coolness then.
Yeah.
There's
like-
no coolness.
It's icy hot, but it's
You
just
don't
the
know.
ice.
Oh, I touched it with my nose.
Your nose will be.
Well, I'll find
Does
out.
your nose
Hot,
feel
that's gonna
cool
be
now?
a journey.
Oh no, is it warm?
It's just a warm.
Smell that. Give that a smell.
Well, aren't you supposed to like have cooling?
I just
things
didn't
like
want to be
aloe
in this
things?
alone. Thank you. I was trying to exemplify what we're
what does
talking
it
about.
smell like?
It's not. It's not like it's good.
Is it just like
Coconut
wax?
adjacent.
Yeah.
Oh, I would eat that.
What?
You can.
Well,
What?
Dude, that
It's probably
smells.
It's edible.
give it a
Yeah,
Dude, that smells so
hey.
freaking good.
what?
You go, I'll go.
Oh yeah, this is the guy that's eating deodorant.
You ate
What's in-
deodorant.
what's in-
Sorry.
well, I didn't
Spoiler. Go
consume
listen to
it
his.
yet.
Go to listen to his.
Organic coconut oil,
It's
organic
organic, it's
sunflower
safe.
oil, beeswax, organic
At the end, they're
calendula,
like, bleach,
and
but it's
propolis.
Worst case scenario,
You
die.
die.
I already have the poops. It's okay.
Yep.
Oh, good. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
You gonna eat it?
Are you okay with them eating your
just-
super expensive?
I just did a finger.
Hawaiian?
fingertip.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
gonna,
yeah.
like dab it
Yeah.
on the tongue.
Do it.
All right. Well,
This
I got
is-
a little more than you, so.
Here's some
You got
foreshadowing.
like
I
a full
guess.
fingerful.
There's no way it tastes good though.
Wait into this.
That
camera
can't.
here.
It's nothing.
Ooh, but
It's better than deodorant.
no. There's deodorant. Okay, so like this is a greasy. There's
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
Next time
greasy.
your wife
It's
cooks.
like the
You know it's
not
better than
good
deodorant.
greasy part of it, but like
Like lard.
there's an
You don't
aromatic.
taste
I'm gonna
anything.
put it this way. I'd go again.
I didn't read the last part.
Do not eat.
uranium.
Yeah. Well, perfect.
Uranium.
I think there's like an aromatic that actually like
It's not
What
bad
is
at
it
all.
tasting like, Byron? What does it taste like?
It's
though?
almost nothing.
almost
with,
nothing.
Like,
Almost
With
not- okay.
essence
No, I'm
of
good.
Coconut.
it's
Essence.
like essence of coconut.
So that's what you mean by the aromatic.
The
It's like-
aromatic
It's not a
of coconut.
flavor as much
Yeah.
as it's like when you breathe.
Yeah, like
That tastes more organic.
It
than
smells like
organic
coconut
deodorant
oil.
tastes.
That's just
Correct.
what it smells
Yeah.
like.
Okay.
If
That's
you've ever
probably-
cooked with coconut oil,
It's like really thick coconut.
got-
oil.
Are you gonna eat it, or are you
He's gonna
gonna
put it in
on
his
your
nose. It really looked like he was going in his nose with that one.
he's gonna snort.
He yeah.
Or
It's
just
not about the skin.
jam-
It's about the
jam-
smell.
There's a mouth coating that happens, but
yeah, that mouth coating is not
Oh,
a cool
yeah.
factor.
yeah.
Maybe this will make what we're doing later easier for you too.
It might. Well, not for you.
Oh,
But yeah, so
For you.
sorry, we were talking about Ecclesiastes
Yeah.
4:9 through 12 here. There's something also in this that I love, all of it. But when looking at it, just kind of like the things that stood out to me as well. When I'm reading it, the verse or the phrase that I just go like, man, it just hits hard is when it says, "Pity the person who falls down and has no one to help him up." Yeah, like because is that an element? So we talk about all the elements of like, are we being friends to one another? Are we lifting one another up? But are we also really pitying the people who have no one, right? And in that pity, that should drive us. Like in this sadness for the people that have no one, that should drive us to go and be those someones to them, right? Or get them.
That is kind of what the Jarrett like.
Right.
That
I hope Jared's okay that we keep bringing him up.
Yeah,
I'm sure
sorry.
he is. I know he is.
like, but
and if you don't know who that is,
go back like
Four
go back
episodes
four
ago.
Yeah.
episodes ago.
We've talked about him over the course of like the last 4 episodes too. But
basically.
we've brought
what
him up
number
before.
episode is it?
19 is the one he's on.
So 5 episodes ago.
Yeah, and then I just mean that after that we talked about it over the last 4 episodes too.
Yeah.
But no, that's a good point. You're right. You can bring up the Jared thing. I was just saying I feel bad that we have
Yeah,
a little,
yeah,
but
that-
I'm
it's
sure he's
every
fine.
single-
But you're right in that it was like when I came to you at the beginning of that and I went, hey, Jared just told me that he has no friends because the ones he has, he's like, man, you guys are great friends. I don't have friends like that. And then those little friendships he had, like they abandoned him. It was like a really dumb situation too. Like he was living with people and then he wasn't allowed to live with them anymore just because he had a dog and they didn't want him to have a dog.
Yeah.
And so they told him like you had to move out and all this stuff. And then they got a dog. But
That's wild.
yeah, it was a sad situation. And I was like, Jarrett, this is what we've been talking about. Like these are the type, they're just not being good friends to you. And so you're right. That was present there. But that's the phrase that as I was reading again, also, I thought like, maybe that's the part I haven't focused on enough is the pitying of the people who have no one, and I think that in us, in this is like the kind of another action item, like go and do this, right? Yeah.
I think what's really cool about just wisdom literature in general, honestly, just the Bible in general, is how transcultural it is, right? This is not like the one thing we can find that we can apply today.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
It's not to be confused with transculture.
Yeah, when you said that, I was like-
Transcultural in the sense of like that
it goes across
in every
boundaries,
culture, across all cultures. Like the idea of companionship is present, and and the wisdom there. For our culture specifically, at least right now. So I'm working on my PhD for intercultural education, specifically with Generation Z. And one of the things that you'll find is that they're often referred to by many names, but one of them is the loneliest culture, the loneliest generation, because they, in a cross-generational study that has asked each generation the same question for decades, is like, how many people do you feel like you can trust to confide in? And it is bounced around like, I think as high as 3, 2, and now the average answer to that question for this generation is 0.
That's wild.
They feel like there is nobody in their life that they trust enough to confide in and to tell them their secrets or the things in them. And so that, like, when you say pity the person who falls down and has no one to help them, honestly, there's a huge culture, upcoming culture, I guess really present culture, Gen Z, that is feeling alone. And so it is incumbent on us to go out and unite them with a person who invites them to fellowship, right? So it says in 1 John 1:9, if we walk, I think it's 1:9. If we walk in the light as He is in the light, we have fellowship with one another. And the blood of Jesus, His Son, purifies us from all sin. Just the idea of being united in faith with Jesus is to have fellowship with other people. So that's why I see when you're saying this, that the real two people in labor here were you and Levi working in relationship with Jared. And what's cool is now Jared has joined that labor.
I was pretty sure I knew 1 John 1:9 by heart, and so it unfortunately is different. But I don't know where the one that you're talking about is. That's
if we confess our sins.
This 1 John 1:9 is if we confess our sins, He's faithful and just to forgive us our sins. But is it 7?
Yeah, I think 7 is.
But if we walk in the light as He is in the light, we have fellowship with one another,
It's
and
not
the blood
1:9,
of Jesus,
it's 1:7?
Yeah, of His Son cleanses us from all sin. 1 John 1:9 is if we confess our sins, He's faithful and just, which is another good one.
Yeah, that's another good one. It's probably why it was in my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it.
I think it's cool. We do keep bringing up the Jarrett thing, and it's not to just beat a dead horse of being like Jarrett was alone and needed friends.
No.
It's like
He's alive now.
Yeah, and it's to say that like it's so cool how I think God just was making a really important point. We talked about last week about His baptism and how He said, coming out of the water, God had a point to make, right? And I think God had a point to make to us more than likely, and maybe just the people in our circle and in this podcast when we were considering, hey, what's a verse that would be good for us to have as the theme? Levi, you brought this one up. And then I was like, hey, let's all maybe come next week with a verse and we'll talk about it. And Levi goes, okay, well, what about this one? I was like, okay, well, we'll still give it a week. And then we went, no, this one's really good. Like, this is what we should do.
And like, it wasn't that like, oh, we knew Jarrett was gonna be like,
absolutely not,
because Jarrett hadn't quite reached like the point when we were like being able to breathe like fully.
No, he hadn't started coming to church yet. He hadn't really talked to me a whole lot about like really desiring it or anything like that yet.
Yeah.
But it was going on.
And
I just didn't know.
That's why we've been talking about it so much, because it's like passing through like the full finish line of everything.
Yeah. I mean, not even the finish line, right? But in some ways it feels like this project.
Like we've made we've reached this milestone of like, now he's fully engaged into the race alongside of us.
Yeah. I guess it is good at looking at it somewhat as complete, though, because if you're praying for a specific thing and God answers it, then don't fail to see that God has answered that prayer.
God has answered that prayer.
So that thing you've been asking for has been given. And that, so in a ways, right, that is a chapter.
And now
closed,
there's the new prayer of praying that God uses him well and that he steps up to whatever next task God has in store.
Super cool. So maybe for those of you out there hearing how much Levi and I talk about it, hopefully you're not annoyed, because for us, this is like one of the coolest things ever. Like I keep talking about it outside of the podcast too. I keep talking to Perry about it.
I've been since we got the video of the baptism, I've been like talking about it to everybody and showing.
And dude, we
his
should
baptism too.
We should be telling everybody, show people the good work that God has done, right? And so that they know and they see the joy in us. Like that's so much of this of the life of the believer should be like really, really living out the joy that is in your heart about what God is doing, and not being like, oh, you know what, like. I'm overdoing it, and these people, I'm in a wrong crowd. Like I don't need to tell them about how happy this makes me. Like this should be something we're telling everybody about. Like, dude, this is one of the best things that's happening in our life right now. It's so incredible what God is doing, and God will use that as well, right? Like, yeah. So we're talking about it a lot because man, it's one of the coolest things ever. And the conviction in that is for me, like, am I this excited about the prospect of other people as well, right?
Yeah.
Like recently in life, somebody who is close to me and I love dearly was like, nah, this whole Christian thing's not good enough for me anymore. And I was like, well, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that I leave nothing off the table, right? That I put it all out, because whatever responsibility is mine now for sharing the gospel with you and being a witness so that maybe it is good enough for you. I know I can't make the decision and I know I'm not God, but whatever responsibility I do have, then I should leave nothing behind and bring it all to the table. In that same way, I was like, oh man, now I'm convicted, because here I am saying I want to share the gospel with people and make disciples of all nations and really fall in line with my responsibility. And not until it was this person who I just happened to love a lot, did I really feel like, really motivated. And so in that same way, how excited we are by Jarrett, coming to be dedicated to Christ and to be baptized, in that same way, am I that brought to that much joy by the prospect of others as well. And so I'm just really grateful too that God has given me this to encourage me to go and to do more of it. And I have noticed it just, I think, coming to my mind more when I'm like in those moments where I should say something to someone in the store, or it's like, man, God's really giving me a layup, and then you don't do it. Those kind of always convict you, right? But here more than ever, given all of this stuff recently, it's like I walk away feeling to have failed so greatly, And so, thankful that God is using these things to convict both good and bad, to push us in the right direction. But I just think it's so cool that this ended up being the theme and everything, that was something that we were, just like continuously talking about, and then to have all this with Jarrett come up and get to do that, all on the show. And it's cool. It's cool for him too.
Oh yeah.
He talked about like how cool it was that his episode was filmed a few weeks in advance, and then his baptism ended up happening the day before his episode came out. So it was like this whole thing, that he could talk to people about and show them. And
the timing
really
was
cool.
incredible.
That's super cool.
So cool. Anybody else on Ecclesiastes 4? All right. Well, we've got a new segment. Pretty soon here, my wife is going to be bringing something in for us. Chris, is she out there and ready? Or Shibbles?
She's just sitting in a chair,
Are you reading it now?
Yeah.
looking at her phone.
Does this just look like a Tuesday night? Yeah. So now you guys are seeing it, unfortunately, but you're seeing like what's coming. But that's fine. Can you scroll up? I didn't want them to see it, Chibbles, because there's one on there that's a surprise even to the one that knows most of them.
Yeah.
I didn't read them all.
We've got my wife, Mrs. Perry Crane, bringing in something for us before we get started. No, you can bring it in. Sorry. But before we get started, I'm going to set that down.
That's just a praise on a plate right there.
We've got some stuff to hand out. You guys are going to need your tools. We'll need this for later. So go ahead and set the table here.
Shh. This is a secret tool for later.
What? One at a time. I think it'll make it more interesting. Oh, do I have too many? Oh, this is mine. So let me get rid of this.
I'm probably on the no-go side.
The no-go?
The no-go?
Oh, yeah.
So are you choosing not to do them? I thought you were going to just.
Oh no, I can't. I will literally die. So I am
I thought
allergic.
you could take like a special pill or something.
No, there's no pill for anaphylaxis.
Okay. Well, then it's a bummer because many of them you will be that for.
That's fine. I'm
Isn't
here
there a
to
pen
laugh.
for it though?
We've got
We've
got more tools here.
There's a pen for it.
Well,
Every
that you
time
might
he
need
just
later.
takes a
Probably
bite.
not for this one, but got some more tools here. Hang on. Oh, got some more tools and equipment for your journey. And one more.
I can't hold all.
And I've been told
This
for
is
this
all
one.
the options that I've ever existed to me. So what do you? Oh, one more. There you go.
I don't think that's true. What is that? I've been told that
Brings out chopsticks, brings
to
out a
make
steak
this
knife.
more visually interesting, we should do one of these here.
Are we doing bibs?
We're doing bibs.
Oh, we're bibbing. Bibbing boys.
Let's bib out.
We're the bib boys
Ding
now.
dong daddies.
Ding dong.
No, we are not ding dong daddies.
That's illegal.
That's the new. Forget UTI guys. It's the new name is Ding Dong Daddies.
Those podcasts already exist.
True. And we. All right, here we go. So, first up, for the that's true. I didn't think about that. For the listener, what's up?
Matt's just
Matt does not
ripping
know how to
Who
put on a
does
bib.
this? I never.
You gotta go corner.
Yeah,
You gotta go
Yeah,
corner.
I figured it out.
now it's
So-
all ripped
I don't
up.
want to talk about it.
So, if you've seen
Yours
a
is also
previous
upside down.
episode with Mr. Hunter Hoover, there was an interesting discussion that we had. He just kind of threw out there as if it was normal, chili on a cinnamon roll, and we went, "Hold up, what?" And it was this like double take moment. He's like, "Yeah, it's an established thing." There's been a lot of discussion. Our most popular YouTube short on our channel is and TikTok is where you're discussing your interesting food choices, like your food mashups, right?
Yeah.
And so we said, all right, next time we have you on, we got to try it. But then I went, no, that's not enough. Every single thing you mentioned, not just the chili on a cinnamon roll, we're going to try them all. And I've brought one
Yeah.
that the one is that one you've not heard of,
I've heard of it.
but you've not had it.
I've not had it.
Good,
My dad's
okay.
from the South, so
Okay, it's a
yeah.
southern thing.
Yep,
I was
yep,
like,
yep.
I've heard of it, also never tried it, but we'll get to it. So I'm glad. I was afraid that maybe you had already had that one. So in this, like, we're trying things we've never had, but you're just eating dinner because
That-
you've had all
yeah.
these things. But good. That means that one of them is one that'll be new to you
In
as
fact,
well.
I've had this within the last 2 weeks. So like,
No
Dude, I
way.
love it.
100%. I mean, blueberry jelly, but like,
Okay, I was gonna. Did
no,
you?
this is the go-to.
Were you on to me when yesterday I messaged you and said, "Hey, the jelly on a grilled cheese, is it on it or in it?"
Not exactly, because I have talked to so many people about
Okay.
this, and
So,
people are like, how do I do this? How do I become
Shibbles.
this raccoon of a man?
We need that thing that's in the fridge as well because we need something to go with it. Sorry. So Perry can bring it if you'd rather. On the cameras. So also because Mr. Hunter Hoover's here, we got to have a beverage to go with our meal here. We've got a 5-course meal, and so a beverage fit for kings.
Could see it through the window.
We've got some orange vanilla
So
polars
happy right now.
getting airdropped in here in a second. So those are probably gonna get passed to you, Byron. You can hand them out.
the V-neck. I'm letting you guys know the V-neck. Is
not
not,
working.
not holding.
mine.
This might not work as
Not
well as I'd
holding.
hoped. I just thought it'd be funny. All right, so here we go. Let's get this rolling. First up,
Scratchy on your
we've
burns.
got no sponsorships. We've got
we've already
got
been
some
sponsored
strawberry
all day.
jam, right? I didn't know what flavor was best. I'm gonna actually abandon the spoon
I have
here.
a question. Should this become almost a plate? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm wondering.
Abandon the
This
bib.
was a good look, but
It was funny, but
I'm wondering if
sorry, wife.
I don't want to sticky your.
Thank you,
whole
wife.
Zone.
Good point.
Yeah, that's smart.
Is she just podcast
Smart
wife?
as well as
All right, let's get
podcast
all of the openings out of the way. Oh yeah, wait, sorry.
On
I
3?
forgot. Just like on
1.
yours.
2, 3.
Ooh,
That sounded good in my ears.
that's crisp. All right, now that that's out of the way, they're not as cold as I would like.
It's a tremendous drink. I love it. Do you know who doesn't like it? Sleepy Joe. He doesn't like it.
So what I've been told here is, unless you put the jelly in the grilled cheese and then make it a grilled cheese, the other way, right, that makes most sense, is to spread some jam.
You're doing it exactly.
I'm doing it correctly? Okay.
Yep.
So we have a professional here. Right?
Professional.
So I remember
amateurs.
when we would go camping, we had this thing that we would make grilled cheese with.
It's the fireplace
don't
grilled
have it.
cheese sandwich makers. You would have
Oh,
the
yeah.
cast iron skillets. That would be
squashy thing?
the squashy thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd have those.
Probably
together.
using his hands like
So-
an animal.
So
I mean, he just started going over to me.
That was a little.
I'm
I
gonna
wanted
steal
to
Levi's
give you
story because
You wanted to give him a tiny jerk. See, I got a nice spread
it's,
here.
It's more jelly than oh my
and Matt
God.
goes over here with not even enough to spread it on the whole thing.
No,
Perfect.
you got it.
We're right on schedule here.
No, but it was a grilled cheese maker. Basically, it's just cast iron.
Yeah, I've seen
squares.
those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you just stuff it into the coals, and then you wait for everything to cook.
Sorry,
But
Byron.
we would make grilled cheese, but also even better would be jelly sandwiches that had been toasted in the fire.
Maybe Byron
So-
tells
okay.
us about it while we give this a try.
So you guys
Okay.
try these. They're called magic sandwiches because Byron here did not like cheese. Oh, I heard the crisps. Oh, look into the faces. Here we go. Oh, there's a curious. I don't know.
Matt, what are you thinking?
Way better than I expected.
Oh yeah, me too.
It's a good sweet on top of that.
So I didn't like cheese. So Mom was gonna make grilled cheese sandwiches for all of us, but I wouldn't eat them. And so she's like, I have jelly. I'm gonna throw it inside this sandwich maker and just make a jelly sandwich, but put it in the fire.
No peanut butter.
No peanut butter, because I didn't like peanut butter either.
Oh wow.
And so then
hard childhood.
it would make, if you haven't done it, do it at home, try it. It's amazing. It basically makes a strawberry pie. Or then you do blackberry, and then you have a blackberry pie, and then you do apple, and you have an apple pie. And they're all just sandwiches.
Bread pie.
They're bread pie. They're amazing. Best thing ever.
Hunter?
I bet yours was really good because the jam was the best part.
No, mine was a nice mix. Like
I love jam.
I had just the right amount. Strawberry was the way to go
I love
too.
jam. Yeah.
Sorry to the audio listener.
You're missing
Be a lot
out.
of mouth sound.
a
There's
lot of
so
mouth
much
sounds,
mouth
yeah.
sounds.
I'll try and bring it down in post.
Oh, he's bringing it up in post, guys. Heads
It's just
up.
you're not gonna hear our voices. You're just gonna hear.
You're like, wow, that must have been unbearable in the moment.
So okay, here's what I'm thinking, guys. Let's tier list these. So we're gonna put this one over here. We're gonna leave it
It's
up here
number
'cause I
one
bet-
for sure.
Yeah.
Number one right now. It's
number one.
Dude, okay. Would you do this instead of regular grilled cheese, though? That's the question, right? Is this an improvement, or is it just better than we expected?
Am I making it or is my wife making it?
I don't know why that matters, but
Because I wouldn't go the extra step.
because it's too much work.
But if you told your wife,
This is what I want to eat, right? So
Would you ask for
Ashley's
her to
making
put
it.
the jelly on it?
If my wife is making it for me and she's like, hey,
What
do
do
you
you
want
want?
jelly on it? I'd say, yeah. I'd take jelly.
But you're not going your personal self.
if
the
I'm
next
making
step.
grilled
Only
cheese,
because it's the work.
and
that's-
I'm just going to...
But you have the jelly there.
But the point is, you're at a restaurant. They have this.
jelly's
You're
out
ordering
there.
this instead of grilled
I'm a
cheese.
lazy cooker.
But I think
But the jelly's
that
there.
An S tier, like a perfect score, you would go that extra step to do it.
Oh, it's so good that you're willing.
you
to.
would be willing to do
maybe
that.
I'm a
It's-
real inspired day, but
Yeah.
I'm the guy who pours hot water over his
Top ramen. Yeah, that's
And
fine.
I
'Cause it's
don't
faster.
boil
Yeah,
it
me
or
too.
That's right.
I just put water in and then
I eat
throw
it
it in the
raw.
microwave.
Levi just
Actually, a
eats
lot
it
of the
cold
time.
without the water.
Agreed.
I've seen it.
I eat it raw.
Just kidding.
Way
No,
more.
I do it all the time.
Crunchy
He
raw or
just
like
crunches
wet?
it.
Yeah.
So
You know,
I know.
all the
100%.
time.
So I will take my top ramen and I'll crunch the bag, and then you open the bag and then you take the little salt. You put the little
yeah.
half
Shake
the
it
salt.
around?
So it's
Don't
kinda
put-
like
don't put
chips.
don't put all of it in there.
Yeah, it's
a little
basically
That's a
piece of
lot
it.
of flavor.
Yeah.
Put half of it in there.
Except
shake it
they're
up,
like
eat
a
'em.
weird consistency chip.
Yeah.
You ever
Weird and hard to chew.
just melt like a spoonful of butter and toss that in there with that seasoning packet?
Oh, so it kind of coats it.
Oh,
When
but
I-
then,
when-
it's still crunchy.
when I make
noodles?
my-
Are you revealing more for next time right now?
Whoa!
How many of these do you have?
I need to have a mind moment with
Wait,
you.
with
I've
them
seen
with them
the
still being
list,
crunchy?
and there are more.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so here's the next one coming in. So I think we've determined this. It is better than original, right?
Yeah.
Jelly makes it better.
Oh yeah.
So next up,
Yep.
I think this is not a tier list as far as S tier. We're just doing ranking 1 to 5
I'll
here.
also say you could also get over this.
Are you serious?
I think I would.
I mean,
With
you
jelly?
okay? Yeah.
I put jelly on
Obviously.
I might be
So
doing both on this one.
In anticipation of
You
this, I
doing
was
both?
considering
Definitely
In
jelly on
anticipation, I was considering like, okay, this kind of makes sense. I got to share real quick. Back in the day in youth group, and this is something I want to bring to our youth group. We used to do an apple day. And it was like, here's the event. You know, it's fall. We go pick apples. Super fun. Then we use the apples to do a bunch of fun things. But really, what we always ended up doing was making grilled cheese sandwiches with apples on it. And it's so good. Like the crispy apples on a grilled cheese with like Gouda or pepper jack cheese. And then you throw bacon on there. It's just a better grilled cheese sandwich. And it sounds crazy. Here's the final thing. You put peanut butter on it. It's actually really delicious. Like it's so good. So when you were saying this one, the ones specifically the ones that are mixing cheese and apple, I was like, okay, that makes sense. Now, maybe the consistency is going to be too much for me or whatever, but the flavor profile, I get it. So I was going to shut this up, but we want to use this.
You can shut it up.
We'll just-
I mean, we can.
Let's leave
As
it
the
open.
spirit leads.
That's the spirit.
As the spirit leads.
Where did I put my knife? Did I pass my knife around?
Here's a knife.
Yeah, whatever. I don't need it. I just was realizing I didn't have it.
Oh yeah.
Pass those around.
Get yourself.
I'll
a
have
good
you
dip.
guys know that when we went to make these quesadillas this morning, I went to try and use the stove here at the office, and the stove, all of the burners don't work.
I thought
So-
that we knew that coming in.
No. I thought that 2 of them did. Oh. We used the broiler to make these. So if you, in case you need to know, broiler.
good, though. Looks
Oh, really? So it's not a dip situation,
Well, I
huh?
normally do dip it.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I
dip.
treat it
thinking
kinda
a
like,
dip,
like
but
salsa.
like-
Like salsa. Okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah. When you have salsa quesadilla, you can put it on top.
Yeah.
Yeah. This will be easier.
Like if I'm alone in my
that's a
house,
lot,
I'm
Matt.
gonna dip it.
Dude, okay.
Whoa.
For the
These are
the-
really hot
I went
too. Harry,
light
thank
on
you.
the jam.
On the jam.
and so I gotta.
for the listener.
And you regret
I
it.
just
now.
want to
did.
taste it
I
all.
did.
Yeah.
I did it to you as a
These are
joke,
like,
and then I was
these
like,
are like
man,
primo warm too.
They're real warm. Thank
while
you.
they
Very, very
eat
warm.
here. Oh, while they eat here,
My
I'm gonna
wife's
let you
been
know the
cooking.
smell is
Can you pass the-
fantastic.
Does it smell good? Which
Oh.
of which? Well, double.
Oh,
not
it's
the
like
warmed
applesauce.
up apple.
This-
of that applesauce.
The
smell of the
applesauce.
The quesadillas right here.
We getting
oh,
All right, we ready?
okay, ready?
Oh, let's give Levi a second.
Levi's got to get a second. Here we go.
Why does Levi's look grosser than mine? What did you do to it?
What?
Just kidding. Your applesauce. What
it's
did you
just
do to
It
it?
in
looks
his
just
hands.
as-
In his
almost-
hands.
In
yeah.
my hand.
It adds an element that I'm not comfortable
It's how
with.
small his hands are.
I think he's gonna make mine taste worse. Ready?
And ready and go. Nice audio crunch. Faces looking good. Hunter's like not even holding back. He's just going to second bite.
You know what's
already.
surprising me?
I'm just trying to figure out how to get it all down without like making a huge mess. In this
Oh,
thing.
just make a mess. I have a napkin for you. Matt is on the fence.
No,
It's
yeah,
not
I am
bad.
too.
It's not bad.
This is one I wouldn't do again though. Like it's not making it better for me.
I'd rather.
But you
a
know what
hot
I wanna
sauce,
find
or
out?
Actually, I'd rather dip it in salsa.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, 100%. I'll put a little jelly on that.
Yeah, I'm going for it.
Put a little jelly on that.
Yeah, I kind of want to try the jelly.
Here, you want to share this one with me?
Yeah.
Put a little jelly on it.
There's another one in there. The other two you guys can share if you want. We'll make the guests share one, and Levi and I will share the other one. Because you said, see, this one's not on the ticket, but this one ain't on the menu.
I think that is
This
honestly
makes a lot
gonna
of
be-
logical sense though.
this is going to be the hot topic right here.
But
I
here's the
think this
thing:
is much
that
better.
applesauce one, kind of lame.
I
Sorry,
feel like
Hunter,
the
but-
jelly
No, you're
might
fine.
be better than the.
I was really holding out. I thought that one made sense.
I think it's because this you do kind of have to spread it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Do you,
there's not a lot of dipping that you're doing in jam.
I had to get some of the crunch too.
do you, Hunter? Have you?
I'm gonna
tried
wait
this
to hold
before?
off. I'm gonna hold off on my.
I have not.
Quesadilla with jam.
I have not.
Okay, so even here we go.
Okay, so the new thing.
The applesauce was presented to me. I'm kind of a spice coward, and so the applesauce was presented to me. Here, I'll let you hit that first if you want to hit it.
All right, man.
Yeah. Why were you using
First drag.
great terminology here? I'll let you hit that first if you're hoping to hit it.
Yeah.
Man.
What do we got? What do we got, Matt?
I just love jelly.
I honestly,
Dude,
like it more than the applesauce.
It's better. I didn't think that I liked jelly
But-
as much as I am today.
Quesadillas with jelly.
Dude, I really thought the apple was going to work more than it did.
I thought so
because
too.
of the apple grilled cheese
What
that
do
I
we-
love so
But
much.
to me, it was just like having applesauce and then you
It's
had
like that. I stand by the applesauce.
Really?
Stands
This
by
is
the
very
applesauce.
sweet.
It is very sweet.
It is very sweet.
Also, this is just
Like,
like
I
the
couldn't-
same thing we had, but with a
I
tortilla.
couldn't
Right.
eat as much quesadilla with the jelly on.
Right.
it.
So usually
True.
when you're presented with a quesadilla, you've got
Right.
a full.
Levi, can I hit that
quesadilla
again?
on hand?
I want to try the applesauce again because
idea-
maybe I'm
Oh,
an idiot.
The idea of
Oh, it's both. Oh no, but it's both.
Double flavor. Here we
I don't see why that would be.
Like I could
think that
see myself eating more of with the applesauce
Right.
than the
There's no
jelly.
reason to-
No. Dipping that like a chip when it was crispy, that helped.
I think that dipping it would probably be better than spreading it on top.
I think
as
so.
well.
I think that helped. The spreading. Oh no.
Yeah,
man.
but he's diving in. You know.
Matt's
no.
Matt's doing it. Okay, we're going the opposite.
If we're doing,
If we're abandoning the menu entirely, who cares?
For the audio listener, we are now doing what
at how
is
much
this?
cheese.
Grilled cheese on applesauce.
Dude, like all the
Grilled
cheese
cheese on
is
applesauce?
on the plate.
I'm going the dip because I think it's better.
Are we ready for round 3? I have a
Bring in round 3.
visual.
Okay. No, they're different things.
No, we
It
got
didn't
plenty
work.
of applesauce.
No, the jelly's better on the. On
Here
the
it
Yeah.
comes.
So I think what we're
Oh.
learning, the way that you originally said, okay, I'm still going, but jelly on grilled cheese was a better experience than the applesauce because we got to stick to the menu for this tier list.
Oh.
So are you writing this down, Chibbles? So we're gonna need this.
Oh no, boy.
Number one right now, this might change. Number 1 is that grilled cheese with jelly on it. Number 2 is that quesadilla dipped in applesauce. We'll tier it at the end. Okay.
Okay,
I'm trying in my head. I'm trying to keep a running tally, but
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
right. This is why we have a producer. I'm trying to run things. I'm
For
sorry.
the man that can't eat it, smells amazing.
So I'll have you know, we cheaped out. And I'm glad we did because the stove didn't end up working. We're like, hey, it's gonna take too long to like also make mac and cheese. Let's just buy the like stuff you put in the microwave. So that's what this is. But I'm gonna let you do this because
You need
my
to-
understanding is it's a scoop of applesauce.
Do you want me to just if I was presented with that? Do you want me to just prepare it? As
Yeah,
you
yeah.
like?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
prepare it.
How you would eat it.
Prepare it. In
Is
the
this even
right
enough
quantity.
applesauce?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna be good here.
Okay.
Because you said a scoop of applesauce in your mac and cheese.
Yeah.
You guys didn't think
I'm
we're giving you
gonna-
lunch
I'm
on this
gonna get-
podcast, did you?
I actually did not eat breakfast because
I only ate some watermelon and drank some tea. Like a little bit of watermelon. Okay, a lot of watermelon.
Is that enough applesauce? I don't know if that's enough.
This is how he would do it. I mean, this is a decent sized amount of mac and cheese. But
Yeah, that's pretty deep. I'm gonna return to this.
return to sender here. That's foreshadowing. Elvis
have-
Presley.
4 tablespoons per one container.
We're gonna see where that's.
We're gonna
at.
see what that. Yeah, I mean, here you give it.
I mean,
give it a
give
shot.
it a
You'll tell
taste,
us.
give it a taste.
You'll be the one that
Give it a
knows.
taste. Give it a
Yeah.
I'm just gonna use this.
Go
Give
for
it
it.
a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In here.
Yeah. Jerry, do you need a spoon?
Yeah, I'll take your spoon.
Oh no,
No, no.
it's not enough.
More applesauce has been added.
All of it. Huh?
We are now
Yeah,
at.
we're gonna
it's-
get that in there.
We will need more
It seems like-
applesauce.
I think we'll.
an all of it situation.
Yeah. It is more wet than I usually.
your mac
If
and
I
cheese.
saw
Venture
someone
down
doing
this
this
road.
mac and cheese,
What?
if I saw someone do that to my mac and cheese, I'd be
I would.
so angry.
I would be angry.
This
as
one
well.
seems like an. I want to know a little bit of the history of these things here.
Like, how did you
Is
find
that
out
it?
about this one?
Is that it?
That's closer.
All
That's
right.
closer.
So here we
Like,
go,
do you
guys.
need more
It
or do
looks
you
like
need
it looks
less?
like right there is about your
Yeah,
special.
it looks a
Or
little.
is it just
You
like
might even be able to scrape the rest of that in there and it'd be fine. but-
Here's the texture. I'm not usually a texture guy, but this is looking dangerous. Okay, I'm gonna wait till you guys are ready.
I think we're good, Perry.
I wouldn't bring the next one in yet.
Nah.
No, no, she's asking
Oh,
about applesauce.
No, I don't
we've
think
got.
we
we-
need
oh,
more.
I think
thank you,
we're
honey.
good.
Head back in here.
Good
Thank
call.
you, love.
Yeah, you guys go ahead. And I'm gonna.
Are we ready? All right.
I'm gonna eat some applesauce
foresee
and try
I-
the
yeah.
applesauce and see what the applesauce is like.
You know. Yeah. What's that applesauce like?
It's applesauce. It would
Yeah.
be better
I
with.
mean-
Dangerous, real quick.
Man,
how
I was really
dangerous
counting on
is
this one
that
being the one to
cheese
make you
to
throw up.
Because I definitely.
This is gross.
Yeah.
Oh, not that bad.
Okay. Very good.
Remember the
I-
Chick-fil-A sauce situation? I was really hoping to get one of those today.
Oh no!
And I
Maybe
thought
if
this
you
was
slurped
honestly
it off
told-
your hand.
Do it.
No.
No.
Okay.
I don't want to eat
Can't
more of
have
it.
I don't
okay.
want to eat any more of it.
What was the judgment on that? It was a no,
It's-
no, and no, or was it a no, no, maybe?
It tastes like mac and cheese that a baby threw up into.
Okay.
Oh, wow, that's
Okay.
harsh.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Those are strong.
It has
words.
like
The same texture too. I imagine the texture would be the same.
yeah, I can
Because
see the
baby
texture
didn't
being that.
Chew it at all. I'm
Like,
gonna go for it again. I gotta find out.
I can see the texture being that.
Think about it.
So this is less applesauce here.
An infant child, upchucked.
Hunter's going in for a second one just to verify.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of,
Hunter's on
it's
it.
not gross.
but I don't think that it comes together well.
This is one of those situations. It's not being made better.
So I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, give us some history.
It's
or
good.
whatever. You heard it. You heard it.
Is I do this specifically, and you obviously had no way of knowing. I do this with day old craft.
Oh.
Day old
to
craft mac.
sauce it up, or-
It sauces it up, but it
Yeah.
also adds a little bit of just a little gnaw to it.
No,
Because I know that because the flavor is different the next day with
But
Kraft.
this is the first time I've done it with like what I would say wet
Fresh,
mac.
yeah.
Like,
Wet mac.
and it's
it made it soupy.
Are you on for
to me
wet mac?
if
or are
you
on
then
for-
put this on a burger, you're
interesting.
You're playing a new game.
I think you need to open a restaurant.
hold on,
No.
hold on. Hold on. We're like hamburger, and then this is the cheese that's going on this hamburger.
sub cheese because it's got a little bit of it's so wet now.
It is very wet.
It's filling the
like I like to have my mac and cheese less wet.
I like my mac
I
and
like
cheese thick.
I like it runny.
Like
Huge.
wait, are you being serious or
Yeah, like a.
Over too much
so you
milk.
can drink it out at the
I
end?
put a little bit more milk than it tells you to.
Okay.
Okay. I disagree.
I honestly have been going back to putting
bring the
it
next
back
one in.
on the surface while I'm
okay.
mixing it together, so it
Or
cooks
what are we
off
thinking?
a little bit of the moisture.
I mean, is this better than the other two? This is not better than the
Better
jelly.
than the other two? No, this
This is number 3, right?
This is
So
8.
far.
I'm not
eight of five.
I'm not a big fan.
All right. Let's just. I'm sorry, Hunter, but
What is this?
so here we got another sandwich. This one I think Byron can finally eat.
What is it?
This So we've gotten some history on the other ones. Actually, I got to know the mac and cheese thing.
Yeah. Oh, I can give you the.
How did this happen?
Yeah. So.
And I'll tell you about this one.
The quesadilla and applesauce. One of my young adult students, we were doing a kind of like a Mexican night at young adults, and I said, I'm making quesadillas. Bring your own topping. Bring your own whatever. And she walked in with this just tub of applesauce.
Wild. Okay.
And I went, hey, that's awesome. Like, thanks for sharing. Let me get some like small bowls and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, no, it's a dip. And I said, okay, for what? And she goes, the quesadillas, you'll love it. And that started off, like I kicked it off. At the high school, one of the students that wasn't even my student, she just was in our room. I was eating a cup of applesauce and a leftover thing of Kraft Mac. And she says, oh, if you dump that in there, it's going to be the best thing you do today.
Huh.
And I went, no,
you were skeptical.
Oh yeah. And then
Wow.
I did it, and I'm like, it fixes day old craft.
I feel like it might help with day old craft.
But
Because day old craft is not worth eating.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Oh yeah, I would never eat.
you can
mac and
patty
cheese.
that
It's
out
been there too long.
almost. Like you can almost make a patty out of it and do a lot
Interesting.
with
Kind
it.
of make a hash brown patty
Yeah,
like out of
yeah.
the. See now, but what you're doing is you're changing it. I agree. Like you're making day old craft better probably with the applesauce. You're pattying it and maybe frying it up maybe better, but I just don't like day old craft as is.
What I've learned today is it is good outside of that because I'm going to tell you, I'm terrified.
This next one?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
If I knew like, might be lunch and dinner, I would probably polish that.
You'd eat that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, I'm glad somebody likes it. Like it needs some love because we're not. Love it.
Is this tuna?
No. So let me give you guys some history here. What's the history of the grilled cheese with jelly on it though? Where'd that come from?
College, Corbin.
Just happened?
Yeah, we just started doing it.
Man, because see, out of all these so far, like that is a shining star.
Yeah.
Like that is impressive.
Yeah.
Whoever thought that up deserves an award.
I don't even remember who the first guy was.
You
The
can take the
quesadilla
credit.
one's not bad. I could see
No, it's
people
not
liking
bad.
it.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I just mean that
I
like that
think
one
that
is still so far above.
That the
The quesadilla one was better.
Grilled cheese
If you
is just
if you didn't try it dipping it like a chip, it was better that way for sure. But okay, this one is a real Southern special. This is a banana and mayonnaise sandwich. Now, this is something that my dad has told me about ever since I was a kid, and I've always gone, Dad, you're disgusting. Not the sandwich. I've gone, Dad, you're disgusting. Like that sounds disgusting. Never. I've never tried it. I've seen my dad prepare it, so I knew how it's prepared. There was a 10-year span growing up where I was like, my dad was always saying this, but I didn't believe him because he was like, I still never saw him eat it.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah, right, Dad. That's disgusting. Looking it up, it's a real Southern specialty. This is supposedly like Elvis's favorite food. He'd eat them all the time. You said your dad's from the South and he's had it, right? So it's a thing.
Yep, he's made it. I've seen him make it.
But you've just never been brave enough.
No.
But here we are.
I can and I will tell you I'm going to be relying very heavily on the banana because
Well, so let me give you the science behind it too.
I'm very against white.
Go ahead,
wet.
Byron. Well, this is country white. I didn't buy the cheap stuff.
White wet.
That's what was in the grilled cheese.
so
it was the same
awesome.
bread.
No.
No, he's meaning
The mayonnaise.
the mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do not like mayonnaise.
Neither do I.
Like mayonnaise,
Yeah, I'm
mayonnaise
not a-
is the worst thing in the world. I also have a phobia of white liquids, apparently, because like I don't like milk.
It can't taste.
I don't like.
Well, your
sour
body
cream.
doesn't like milk,
My
right?
body
Well,
doesn't
you
milk,
like
but like milk isn't bad.
Levi's like, you like milk.
You have to say it.
but like white liquids and mayonnaise.
Can I talk about the race war for a second? So the thing that's racist to say about white people now, like Kamala Harris did this thing where she was like trying to be funny
Kamala.
racist. No.
Racist.
Kamala, sorry. The thing that she said,
Mamala?
like in this little, they're trying to be relatable lately in this video, and she says to Tim Waltz or whatever, he's like, well, I make white guy tacos. Like they're just trying to be funny, and it's just not. They're trying to be likable. He's like, well, I make white guy tacos. White guy. She's like, oh, what's that? Tuna and mayonnaise. The joke about white people is that we love mayonnaise. So it's great to hear say that you hate it. Because I also
You're the whitest guy I know.
because you're the whitest guy. Because like I'm not really a mayonnaise guy either. Like most of the time, I don't. It's just it's got to be with something, and I get it. So the science behind this sandwich, from what I've heard, is that it's like, and my dad's always said when I'm like, that's disgusting. That he goes, no, you don't understand. What the mayonnaise does is it
Gives you anxiety.
Yeah, dude.
No.
Yeah,
It not only highlights, it enhances the sweetness of the banana. That is the reasoning that I've heard.
Okay.
So you've got a banana sandwich. Mayonnaise enhances the sweetness.
All right.
So with that understanding,
What if I'm not
gonna
a
throw-
huge
I'm gonna
fan
throw-
of
I'm gonna throw.
either?
I'm
Well,
gonna
you gotta
throw
try
in.
it.
I'm gonna throw this in. I will try it. I
Good.
do not like sweet bananas. I like starchy bananas. Starchy. If you get a green
What is-
banana,
I
Just
think you
eat
just like
plantains.
potatoes, dude.
absolutely.
I'm sure I'm
potatoes.
sweating so much it dripped on my leg there. Or
I like my bananas mashed with gravy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
Little
it did.
butter, salt, pepper.
All right,
Yeah.
let's do this. So this is
Yeah.
not prepared. What's up?
Could be a thing.
Mashed.
That is
Mashed
Wow.
banana.
Look at this cross section. She did thick slices.
Let's try
I
this.
appreciate that, honey. Thank you.
Okay.
Is it gross? Are we? This isn't the one I thought would get it.
I don't know if I can. man.
just smell it. If you, there's such a pocket of mayonnaise. I'm trying to find the least mayonnaise pocket.
Yes, this is what I wanted.
He's smiling. Zoom in on that.
Do we need a trash can? We should bring a trash can in here, maybe.
Honestly,
One with
kind
not
of.
holes in the
I'm
side.
not gonna lie. I think
Look at that. Look at it.
Do you want this one instead? Matt, do you want
I'm
this one
afraid to
instead?
even pick it up.
was
Honestly.
not
sticking
that.
my
might be
It's
right.
not that disgusting.
I don't even hate mayonnaise.
Yeah.
All right, this is a McChicken.
Do the Trump here.
Look at your
McChicken.
McChicken. Isn't it great? It's a tremendous
Three-
McChicken.
Wait.
your dad might be right.
Do we want this over there by Matt or not?
I've seen him eat it.
Yeah.
Do you want the trash can?
Yeah.
Just
Can we
get-
have
yeah.
it
Put
between
by-
me and
by- hand it to
between
Levi.
me and Matt?
No, I have got a receptacle
Oh no,
right
it's
here.
recycle.
Ew.
Oh.
Oh, I'm gonna puke just watching them.
Stop saying the words. Don't say the P word.
Where do I put this once I take one bite? Because I'm confident there's only
It's going right there. I'm laying.
I'm throwing it right back on
You
it.
can throw wherever you
I'm
want.
gonna land mine over
I'll
here.
land here. Okay.
Okay.
All right, on three. We're
Oh
ready?
no, it fell apart.
I feel bad that my dad is watching, and we've tried some of the most wild things, but this we're all like,
It's because
It's
these are
the
all
mayonnaise.
cheese
The
essentially.
mayonnaise is a weird.
Mayonnaise.
The cheese carries.
Grossest thing in the world.
you're Elvis Presley, you're a rock star on top of the world, and you're about to eat a McChicken. Ready?
May
Three,
Lord
2,
have mercy.
1, down the hatch.
Come on, baby.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So white bread, I was told specifically was what it has to be made of, like Wonder Bread white bread, and I didn't buy that.
for two?
I ain't bad. If my wife ever sees this, she's never gonna let me live it down because I hate mayonnaise with a passion.
Really?
That's not
The mayonnaise
worst.
is the
It's
hard part.
gross.
The mayonnaise is the not good part here.
That's not the worst thing I've
Hey,
ever
good job,
eaten.
man. I was about to pat you on the back. You're lucky I remembered. I was about to be like, hey, nice job.
Dude, throughout this entire thing, I've been wanting to pat you. Like,
Pet me?
pat you.
No.
Pat you.
Going for two though? Okay, hold on.
I got a
hold
lot
on.
of mayonnaise on that one. Don't look at my lip, Matt. I was really
Dude,
hoping he
it's-
would. I was really hoping he would.
So gross.
He took a big old lick.
Okay.
No, it's not so bad.
The banana is the star.
But here's the thing.
You can have the rest of mine.
I don't want it. I would rather just do peanut butter, honey,
And a
you
banana.
know,
That's only
hot
that's only
sauce
logic.
even, I think. All right.
For me, the biggest thing here is
Oh,
would it be better with something else?
Yes.
So,
Well, sure.
like this,
That
adding the strawberry jam
To the grilled cheese.
to the grilled cheese, ask yourself, would it be better with something else? And I honestly,
I think-
I wouldn't dip that in salsa.
No.
I don't think I wouldn't cover that with Tabasco. I like Tabasco.
I put hot sauce on grilled cheese. It's pretty good.
But grilled cheese, hot sauce on grilled cheese, dipping grilled cheese in salsa, love it. I think it's better than applesauce and jam. So,
So this is dead last.
what would be
you're saying.
better with banana?
Oh,
Almost
a million
anything
things.
else.
Yeah.
I'd take
Vinegar.
Brussels sprouts.
I love
Careful.
Brussels sprouts. Love Brussels sprouts.
Next season finale.
Peanut butter, of course.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's obvious
Yeah,
ones.
Absolutely.
Nutella.
That's
But like
strawberry
we have
jam.
to remember to remove those from our brain because like with the quesadillas, like there's obvious things better than applesauce.
Salsa's
Sour cream and
literally
salsa,
made
like
for it.
they're made for it.
Yeah,
and like
but there
peanut
are
butter banana is
people
made
who
for it.
make
Marshmallow fluff.
these.
But this is a thing. It's an established thing. So where are we ranking this? Would you ever eat it again?
No.
Obviously no. I would never choose to, but I wouldn't be like
Let me put it this way. Let me put it this way.
What
If
did you
I was
say?
if I was at someone's house, until today, if I was at someone's house and they said, "Would all we have?"
Yeah,
is
for
we've
lunch.
we've got bread, bananas.
And mayonnaise.
I would probably say, "Can I just have the banana?" But if
Yeah.
they're like, "I'm making banana mayonnaise sandwiches,"
you're eating one now?
I'd say, "You know what? I'll take a corner.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to go whole sandwich, but I'd take a corner."
Yeah, I mean you want to be kind and gracious
Yeah.
to your hosts as well, right? Like
Yeah.
accept their offer.
I would be able to eat it if I had to.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
There might be times where I plug my nose, and I like mayonnaise. And I like bananas.
I mean,
like it in the
everybody
right
that
things.
doesn't know you, if you did that with them, they'd be like, "Oh, you really like it because you're smiling so much."
It's really good. And that's just you're trying not to. Have we talked about that on the podcast?
Not bad.
When Matt needs
I
to
think
puke, he
that
just goes.
we may have, but like whenever he needs to
You-
not puke,
You've never puked. Is that-
I puked
he's
a lot.
Oh, okay.
It's
Like,
it
that's
is an
why.
acquired skill because
acquired
of
skill.
I have a very sensitive gag reflex.
I'm
There's a
proud
video
of
out
you.
there of me
So-
just saying
so-
I'm going to throw up immediately, and then I throw up.
And that's
Really? I got to see this.
why you look at me and smile all the time.
Every time you look at Byron.
Byron, you activate my gag reflex.
So I thought.
watch a sermon of his, and he's like talking and everything, and then he looks over.
So I've
Oh,
talked
Byron
about
must
you
have
in
been
a
at church
sermon.
that
I'm
day.
like, and Byron,
Starts smiling. No, that's terrible. So the reason I added this is because in my head it's like, here are all these crazy wacky foods I never thought I'd eat, and we're eating them today. And I thought, man, I just hope that I can add one that for Hunter is a new experience, and we did. And I'm glad that you didn't love it. It's kind of funnier that way.
I didn't love it.
Sorry,
But it's,
Dad.
again, it's not.
You know, Dad, I tried the guy that eats, in my opinion, some of the craziest things I've ever heard. Didn't like it. So I think maybe. Well, I guess if you eat it growing up,
If you-
it's like an acquired thing.
I think growing up, like, if
Nostalgic
you were grown
stuff.
up with
Oh,
it, yeah,
nostalgia hits hard.
All right, let's throw this to the side. We got one more.
Yeah.
And we saved the best for last. We saved the famous one, the one that started the whole conversation, the one that we all went, what? Right? And you went, no, it's an established thing. Since that episode, we've
This
heard
sounds
many.
amazing.
We've heard many who have come to defend this. Many who have come to say that I've never heard of this. I looked into it. He's right. It is an established thing. It's kind of along the same lines as Cincinnati chili, right? That kind of sweet, chocolatey flavored chili or whatever. I went this morning
are these Cinnabon?
and got
Yeah.
Cinnabons.
These are real
for you
Cinnabons.
guys. So again, like the applesauce one, I think we're going to have to see Hunter demonstrate to us the proper amount here. What would he do?
well,
I'm trying to.
Does Cinnabon do?
Do we need a
cream
better
cheese?
bowl for this?
Did you get the cream cheese?
Yeah, I think that we're cutting them in half.
Oh, I don't know.
Or did you get?
Yeah, we were all just like,
Is it the cream
Sharing it.
cheese or is it the sugar?
I don't know if they
Oh,
make
you
two different.
dumb?
I just grabbed Cinnabons.
Well,
let me
oh
taste
yeah. I thought you
Okay.
meant like.
Byron,
Huh?
it tastes like cream cheese. I'm sorry. It's not cream cheese?
It's not cream cheese.
It tastes like cream cheese frosting.
Because there's cream cheese frosting and then there's the.
Can we
just
look
like
at the
straight
box?
sugar.
I'm gonna actually offload
Sorry, honey.
that to right there.
Okay.
The reason I'm gonna do that.
Hey,
is then I'm gonna take
Chris,
this.
can you have Perry bring a couple empty bowls in here?
I'm just
So
gonna
personally,
eyeball this.
I'm not
We're
a big
eyeballing.
chili guy.
I love chili. I would eat chili all day.
I hope my grandpa
it's
doesn't
made
watch
with
this.
cream
I know.
cheese.
It is a cream cheese.
Cinnabons are?
Yeah, Cinnamon classic rolls are.
Yeah, I just grabbed the
I-
first
I
box
just
of
made-
delicious.
Oh my
looking Cinnabon.
goodness,
You're
we
good.
can't use the table now.
made a
We have to
terrible
throw the table out for next season.
Next season, yeah. What if we do get a new table?
I'll just cut off the
That'd
top.
be so funny.
So
Clip it.
that's
cut off the
essentially
top?
what that would look like.
Okay, so we could just dump this one in this bowl.
Sure.
Easy.
Yeah, I can. You want
And
me
then
to
do the
start-
same thing on the other one.
Let me start cutting.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Cinnabon.
I mean, it's not coated, but
Oh, actually, this one's got some more cream cheese frosting on this one. You know.
good for Byron.
Yeah.
So Byron, you're gonna have to try and cut off that top you said of that one and just go for the bottom or whatever. Here, I'll just
pretty
take this. Oh, we don't need those bowls. We got extras in here. I'm sorry. My mistake. And we also decided we didn't need them anyway because we're doing it this way. Okay, so this is man. Does it look
Just stuck
disgusting?
my finger in mayonnaise and want everybody to know about that.
Oh,
What'd you do with it?
Well, nothing yet. Just holding on.
It's holding on.
I almost.
There's somebody out there that their favorite,
hand hovered.
their favorite treat is Cinnabon.
Here, wait. Let's do it this way.
Yeah, yeah.
Because Byron's got to cut that top part off. So
I'm
you
gonna
can-
let y'all.
It does contain milk. So are you gonna go for it, but cut off the top or?
But also, Levi. Are you okay with me cutting off the top, Levi?
Sure. Oh yeah, because there's 5 of us here.
There's 5 of us.
Yeah, just give Levi just the top part, and you take the knot.
that way.
Because Levi doesn't like chili. That's gonna be great for him.
No?
No,
Well,
I'm not a huge
here,
fan of chili.
give him some of the.
But yeah,
Give him some of that
I've gotta
chili
have
in there.
some
The
The
chili
benefit,
on top.
I like both of these things. I
That
can't
is a
So
say
I've
that
started to come
upgraded
around to this, and I think I understand it. Like, think about it. When you go somewhere and you get chili, you put like a sweet roll in, like sweet cornbread, like sweet bread. Like it's so good to dip it into the chili. This is just like dessert style sweet. So
I will say, like, if when Anna makes chili, I put in either a request for cinnamon rolls or I go and like buy them from the store to specifically. So I go out of my way to do this.
well, we were hoping to do this in a fun way. We were going to go do it like an on-site recording,
Yeah.
right? We were going to go to a restaurant and do it, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe we'll do it still if that ever works out. But all right, here we go. Just grab a bite of cinnamon roll here. Are we going? All right, we're in.
Hunter. I think you're my new best friend.
I mean, it works, man. It does work.
Oh man.
Okay.
It's like I'm home.
I think
It's like
I
I'm
get
home.
it. Like the salty, buttery chili and buttery cinnamon roll, it does work. Do you want to try it, Perry? Come on in.
Oh, Perry, please. It's so freaking good.
You're always craving cinnamon rolls. Let's not ruin
She's
them.
disgusted, smiling and shaking her head no.
Maybe she can't stomach it. Oh no, she doesn't want our son in there to like it and ask for it later.
This one surprises me.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're liking it?
Yeah.
The
this
more
is
I'm
good.
eating it, the better it gets.
This is good.
because it's sitting in the chili.
I need more chili.
What a weird
I need more chili
combo.
too. Because now I'm just kind of eating cinnamon roll.
Yeah. Which is still fantastic.
I will admit, other than the grilled cheese, this is the first one I want to finish the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
The grilled cheese I went in for more. And this one is big enough that like I'm not going to do that, but I want to eat the whole thing. So they're just watching us eat here. So, all you UTIs out there, catch you off guard.
While we're talking about like foods and stuff,
Listen, go try this. We have influence. We've learned. So, this is how we're choosing to influence you.
Seal of approval.
We're going to have an entire group of fans. Oops, there goes my fork. We're going to have all these fans. We're going to start a generation of people that people think have pica.
Explain
All
to me
right.
why this complements each other.
Producer's edit. Add a slice of honey baked ham. Oh, to the banana mayonnaise sandwich? Ugh.
Oh, gross.
Okay, well, we'll try it. I can see how that might make it better. The ham and mayonnaise. So,
That
Matt,
mayonnaise and ham go together. I'd
Yeah.
take that.
with banana on it too?
I mean, it would be a real sandwich at that, and
Yeah.
then you just added something weird. But that's what we're doing with all
I
of these.
think that the cinnamon roll does help the chili though.
I think
Because you don't like chili. That's a great perspective.
having like really, really hot chili, like warm
Yeah,
chili.
that was the goal, but it was our last thing here.
yeah.
So.
So like fresh cinnamon rolls with piping hot chili right over the top, instead of like the frosting glaze. I'm guessing.
Yep. Oh no! You
need the frosting.
You do the frosting.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I
Especially
want to have the
cream cheese.
frosting. Whatever.
I was hopeful
right-
that the cream cheese was the way to go.
Right over the top.
So I wanted originally, or I thought about it, I was like, because Perry makes the best cinnamon rolls. They're seriously so good. I've never had I grew up not really liking cinnamon rolls, and I like them now because she's made me like them. Producer's edit. Oh, you got rid of it. Okay. And they're so good. It's just, it would have been too much work to go to make them in advance. But those ones, I seriously, because she makes really good cream cheese frosting, just layers it on there. And the cinnamon rolls are not kind of like, these kind of get cakey and hard a little bit, but they're just so good and gooey and doughy. And so I want, like the next time she makes those cinnamon rolls, I'm 100% going to pop a can of chili out of the pantry and I'm putting chili on it.
And
Oh, I can't.
yeah, like this, it scales
Here,
well
Byron,
too.
you want some
like
more of mine? This is
Nah,
the
it's
bottom.
good.
That's the bottom side.
It's fine.
it's great, like homemade, but I've also like stooped down into just,
gutter.
like Kroger pre-cooked cinnamon roll and Wendy's chili, just bam on top, and it's still good.
See, that's what
Hold
you
on.
said last time, so I
Like,
was going to get those, but
The minis?
The little mini
Oh,
ones?
the minis are freaking amazing.
yeah, you just pile them in a
cinnamon
bowl,
rolls,
hit the chili.
I was going to get the mini Cinnabons when I was there, and then I thought, let's go for the full experience.
No, this is
I'm 100% going to finish this. Sorry to the audio listener. This is kind of a lot of dead air. Well, a lot of chewing instead of dead
Yeah.
air. So don't worry. You're getting entertained.
Oh yeah, let's cheer 'em.
Yeah.
No, it's
Okay, so I think so. Let's go fingers on chili and cinnamon rolls.
Can we start with the banana?
Let's go with the banana. Let's start with
Why
banana.
would you do that?
What number do you give banana on the
Is
five?
it the bottom number five?
Yeah.
And 1 is the best. banana, mayonnaise. I got a 5.
I'd rather
five,
drink out of the toilet.
Wow.
Here,
5.
Yeah.
the
so
sulfur,
the fart water
the
out of the
fart
water?
water.
Yeah.
Hold on. But here's the thing. I asked for fingers up, and Matt gave me 1. So
No.
he gave me a 1.
you didn't see
6.
my.
Oh, I didn't see the other hand. My bad. 6.
Yeah.
Jelly
Jelly.
accompanies it quite well. It's a good pairing.
The jelly on the grilled cheese. Where are you guys putting that?
Number one.
Got a number
Yeah.
one.
Honestly,
one,
as much
two.
as I liked this, really,
Yeah. The chili and cinnamon roll.
really, I don't know. I'm sitting with it, and it's a strong flavor that lingers.
so good,
That might be my problem with
It's
it.
the chili.
And I'm tasting the cinnamon. Like,
That's
It
exactly
surprised me the most. One for most surprised that chili and cinnamon roll was so good. I thought it would have been 4th,
whoa, really?
Let's go.
but the one that
So most improved.
yeah, and this isn't recency bias, obviously, because I'm still putting the first thing we ate number 1. The straw. I can't think of anything else that I would want to add to that.
To what?
To grilled cheese.
Oh, grilled cheese, yeah.
Grilled cheese. Okay, quesadilla. Quesadilla with applesauce. What are we voting
That's
for?
number 3, I think.
Yeah.
Number 3.
We got a 3.
got a
got a 3.
4.
Got a 4. Levi's deciding. Gonna make or break it.
Man, so my problem is I'm not a big fan of chili,
Yeah.
to start with. But the cinnamon roll extremely helped the chili,
yeah.
But the applesauce, the quesadilla with applesauce,
Did you try it the dip way?
yes.
It was better, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes, but it still wasn't like
It wasn't as
Incredible.
revolutionary.
But you're
No.
But you're also a quesadilla guy.
I am a quesadilla.
But with the number 3, what I'm doing is I'm leaving room for the number 2, and I'm leaving room. I'm just gonna be spoiler alert. I'm leaving room for number 4 being applesauce, scoop, and mac and cheese for me. But
Yeah. That's why I'm deciding between number
which is your 2 and 3
2
here?
or 3 between these two things.
Man.
but honestly, even if you end up putting it at 2, which I do want to hear your answer, it'll still sit at 3 because the average is still here, right? He said,
Oh yeah, no matter what I say, it doesn't change the
Yeah, the
tables.
quesadilla is 4 for me.
"Really?
Quesadillas.
Yeah,
Wow.
that mac and cheese.
Yeah.
I truly like. If I would eat that whole bucket.
Oh, it's yours. You can take it home."
No,
Thanks for being on the show.
Actually,
Here you go.
There's a lid. I might.
There's a cardboard sleeve.
I'll go with
And that's a day old. Just add some mayonnaise.
That's lunch tomorrow. No.
Where are you going, Levi?
I'm gonna go
Quesadilla.
with quesadilla as 2.
2. Okay, so the average is still right 2 and 4, and we got 2 3s here, so it
it's
still
still
sits
3.
at 3 for that quesadilla
And then-
dipped in applesauce.
And then applesauce scoop of mac and cheese.
4.
4.
Yeah, that's 4.
Big time.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's
Hunter.
okay.
And Hunter,
Yeah.
what is Hunter doing on that?
I think I would land at 3 on that if I was.
Hunter,
So what was your 4? The quesadilla with
4 was quesadilla.
4 was quesadilla.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's
then,
just 3.
And then chili with
Puts
cinnamon roll.
chili at number 2, baby.
Yeah.
But
Number 1 for the
it's
Mr. Hoover
it's a
over
3
here.
for me.
Yeah.
Out of the 2 that I
3.
tried, it's number 1.
Oh yeah, the 2 you had were these best. You literally had the top and the bottom of the list. That's so great.
So yeah.
I'll tell you, even though this is like an established Midwest thing, the inception of this for me was grade school and middle school. I went to school in the middle of nowhere in Montana.
Nice.
And so all of the meals were prepared by just a handful of just amazing ladies, probably at 4 a.m. And every other Wednesday we had chili and cinnamon rolls.
Wow.
I don't know why. And they were served
As a school
separately.
lunch? Like-
as
Oh,
a
they were
school lunch.
served
They were
separately?
served separately, and we
Oh,
ate
okay.
them. I mean, every other week for 8-9 years.
But they were served as part of the same meal.
Yep,
Right?
that
But
was all that was on the
Not
plate.
a mashup.
That was all that was on the plate.
yeah, and then you could scoop some fruit if you wanted, but that was what was
Interesting.
presented to you. And sometime in middle school,
What a hearty meal.
we were just like, throw it in. We never went back.
Wow.
Yep.
Fascinating.
Incredible.
Your life is an enigma.
This is how I know that the banana one is disgusting, because I thought that was disgusting. And this would be made better if I added that onto that.
Yes.
Sorry, you heard it here, Elvis Presley and Dad.
That really does not like that.
That's the strongest review so far.
Well, yeah, if someone said like, hey, do you want anything else on your banana
Mayonnaise.
To just help you get it
sandwich. They're
down.
like, we have applesauce mac and cheese.
mac
I'm
and
like,
cheese.
yes, add that on there.
That lives well.
It's aged well.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, okay, real quick before we close this out. We're running low on time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got it. Before we close this out, I have a quick story. This is a story I've told on the podcast, but it got cut for Patreon. So only Levi's heard it, and Shibbles has heard it. But I realized I told it on the wrong episode. It made sense when I told it to Celeste and Perry because they were both present for this thing. But I'm in better company now. Byron, who wasn't here, he should hear it.
Yes.
Hunter, you'll understand why you're the right man for this. And Matt, I'll explain. I think you'll probably understand.
It's very, yeah.
So there's a restaurant called Fogo de Chao. Fogo de Chao. It is in Portland.
Okay.
It is a magical experience. You go to Portland, that's not a magical experience. Here's the thing. Sometimes you have to walk through dark valleys to get to where God wants you to be.
Right.
There's your sermon illustration. And God wanted us at Fogo de Chao. I don't know. But
It's the green pasture.
it is.
And
No,
still
dude,
water.
it's the diamond in the rough. Because I said on that episode when I was retelling this that the only reason I'm ever choosing to go to Portland is if hell isn't available, I think is what I said.
Yeah, that is what you said.
And because I don't like going there. And we went, so it's about an hour and 15-minute drive. Man, I shouldn't laugh so hard at things that I say, but it's so funny.
Why is an hour and 15 funny?
No, yeah. I'd go to Portland if hell wasn't available. But that was the thing that I thought was funny.
It just came back to you.
It circled back around. It lingered, and then I just couldn't resist. So in the heart of Portlandia, there is this restaurant, and it is basically where they've got this wonderful buffet full of a spread of beautiful sides, right? All of it, but they're all sides. No main entrees. But really, really good stuff. It's delicious food. I mean, they had like just all forms of different like mushrooms cooked in a bunch of different ways, and a bunch of like smoked salmon and all these like specialty meats and cheeses. Excuse me. We ate a bunch of weird food. And while we were there, we ate some delicious stuff. But the main draw is that there's these men walking around with sticks of skewered, grilled, and like charbroiled meats. Yes. They walk to your table and say, "Sir, do you want some of this?" And then you go, "Yes, of course." And then they cut it off for you, right? And it never ends until it does. And I've heard, right, legends about this place and been so excited. Like, man, I want to go. And Jacob and Celeste were telling us about it. And they're like, yeah, they went on their anniversary last year. And like, yeah, we should take you guys sometime. And we just didn't get around to it. And then they ran a special. Normally it's $69.
Nice.
To get a ticket into this buffet. And it was on sale for $37. So we're like, all right, we're going. We went with them. But that morning, we had gone in and talked to Celeste, met her at her office to just talk about some other stuff. And on the way, Perry and I went, hey, we really like blended chai. Let's go get a chai, right? So we go to get a chai, and it's delicious. But here's the problem. When you drink chai on an empty stomach, it gurgles. And I drink chai on an empty stomach. So you're already seeing why this is a you story. I drank some chai on an empty stomach. Went in, met with Celeste, and we talked for about an hour, and I was like enjoying this blended chai, drank it all. And then while we're meeting with her, she's like, hey, we're going to this restaurant. You guys should come tonight. I'm like, wait, is this one of the few nights where we don't have something going on? We can go? Great, so we're going to go. So then she's like, great, all right, meet us there at 4:00. So we have to go home. We've got a couple hours to get some stuff done, and then we're going to this restaurant and get all dressed up and go. So then I go, well, now I'm going to this buffet, and I want to get my money's worth, number one, even though it's on sale.
Yes.
And also, I want to be able to eat as much as I can, so I'm going to skip lunch. So then I just drink a lot of water throughout the day, also thinking I'm going to be eating a lot of meat. I don't want to get plugged up, right? So I need to really keep things moving.
Yeah.
Forgetting that I drank a chai that day, and that's probably going to shoot through me at some point. And what's up?
Side context. How long ago was this?
How long ago was this that this happened?
Yeah.
Like
3 weeks?
a month ago.
3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Perfect.
It was in August. It was the very beginning of August.
Thank you.
Why? Oh, yeah.
We're
You know a thing.
We're golden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I'm not going to bring up.
I was just
wait,
asking
did he
time.
know?
What?
Huh?
Continue.
So,
Proceed.
yeah. So, where was I? Try get a shoot for me at some
Drinking
point
tons of water.
at home, getting a few things done while we're in this. Now I'm in the prep stage, right? Because I got a big meal ahead that I don't want to waste. And I, before we make the drive, I go, let's just add something to the mix to help. to help make sure that when I introduce all of this
Bricks of meat.
these bricks of meat, that everything is moving, right? And so it's like moving cogs, like one of those machines, right? That you put a car into and it's already rolling, right? And it just tears it apart. I don't have to worry about that meat plugging anything up because there's things that are moving, right? Gears are moving. So I ate a plum, specifically a prune plum, thinking like, I'm gonna just, that's a poop inducer. I'm gonna eat one of those. So did that. Then we drove to the restaurant, had a phenomenal time. The whole time it was great. Food was so good. I got some stories about it. They don't matter so much. I think I did tell them. I think that didn't get cut, but had a great time at the restaurant. Met some cool waiters, and it was funny, like experiencing how they try and cut you off when you're not supposed to be eating anymore. All that was great. We're there for about an hour and a half. We go to leave, and during the dinner conversation, Perry's brother Patrick is sitting across from us. We don't see Patrick very much because he lives in Portland. And as I said before, we're not getting up there. So since he moved recently and he's been wanting to show us his apartment, he goes, hey, you guys haven't been up here yet. I can finally show you my cool apartment that I got recently. And we're like, oh yeah, we're already up here. Sure. And we've been meaning to get up here to see it. And he's like, cool. So after we're done, right, I'm going to go show you my cool apartment, right? And like, yeah, all right, we'll meet you there. So we finish the food. I get up and I'm like, whoa. As soon as I stand up, I realize I've been sitting this whole time, but when I stood up, everything moved.
Perry's just laughing, by the way.
Everything
off camera.
moved in there. And I think I'm going to have to go to the bathroom really bad. But it's the
pre-poop stage.
This is the warning moment.
Yeah.
And I didn't listen hard enough because I thought, but I'm sure that this terrible experience that I'm confident is on the horizon. I'm certain that it's an hour and a half out. And we've got an hour and 15-minute drive, and we're going to go down the block to see his apartment. So I'm probably fine to wait.
Yeah.
Wrong. As soon as we walked out of the restaurant, I thought I was going to die on the spot. So we start walking out, and Patrick's like, hey, come out, I'll ride with you because I walked, and I'll take you to the apartment. And so he gets in the car, and as we were walking to the parking garage, I was like, oh my goodness, this is the worst I've ever had to poop in my entire life. And it gets worse from here. Like, this is so bad. Here's why I think you need to hear the story. You make fun of me for having never pooped my pants.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, is this the moment?
And I'm walking through Portland towards the garage. And this is a fitting story for even our podcast because Jude's told some stories about pooping his pants while en route. So we get to the car, Patrick gets in, we head to his apartment, and the whole time I'm just like, just shaking, like my knees are shaking, like I'm driving. I haven't said anything to Perry yet. I'm just like, oh.
You're sweating.
Because this is already, I've probably been to this point in my life before where it's this bad and it's bad, right? And things are gurgling consistently. And Patrick and Perry are gabbing and we're all chatting and I'm just like.
Did the sweat start happening then?
Sweat started.
Like,
yeah, dude.
And it's like there's poop sweats and there's meat sweats.
Oh, I was probably sweating as much then as I am right now in this room.
Perfect.
Yeah, which that should say something. For the listener, you don't understand, but it's muggy in here.
And everything feels like it's taking too long.
Yes,
Patrick,
yeah.
Here, let me show you every page of my Pokemon collection.
So that's what happens, right? So we get to his apartment, we park, and then we go up there, and it's like, man, this is really nice. And you have moments of reprieve, where it gets so bad, but like.
And then it's just
but
like,
I'm at the apex, and I know as soon as the apex passes, I'll have 5 minutes of nothing, and I'd be like, okay, we're good. And we're like, he goes like, oh, this is the parking garage. I'm like, tell us about it so we can stand here for a minute. What's this parking garage? Why do you like it? Okay, we should go up to your apartment now because I can walk. And I haven't said anything of what the problem is. Finally, we get up there, and I haven't even mentioned it to Perry. And we're like looking around. It's a cool apartment. It's like a studio apartment, like. It's important that as soon as you walk in, the bathroom is right there, real thin wall to the rest of the apartment because it's a studio apartment, right? And it's like, so I was hoping like maybe I can use his bathroom, but I don't want to blow it up. So if it's reserved enough, I can't. But it's an apartment. Got in there. It's not an option. So we're looking around, and also I was thinking like, how soon can we get out of this? But then I felt bad because we like never see Patrick, and I don't want him to feel like we walked in. We're like, cool, great. This sucks. We're leaving, so I'm like, we're going to give him the time he's due. And it's Perry's brother, right? Like, so we're looking around. He shows us his cool balcony. We were in there for 15 minutes, but it felt like just days of agony. And there were moments where I'm like holding out to the rail of the balcony, and I don't like balconies. Like, it just freaks me out. And I'm just like, and then he turns around to like point at the vast expanse, and I look at Perry like, she's like, what's going on? And I'm like, I have to poop. so bad. And so every time he looks away, I'm like, yeah, Patrick, it's really nice in here. Finally, we're able to leave. And Patrick goes, I got to get you out of the parking garage, so I'll ride with you. I'm like, great. He gets in the car. As soon as we get out of the parking garage, I'm like, well, so you could probably get out now, right? He's like, yeah, great. Kick him out. Perry, find me a bathroom right now, right? Like, it got so serious so quick. Find me a bathroom right this second. And I'm just like, I'm probably yelling without realizing, just find me a bathroom right now. I have to go. And I'm just driving, like I'm leaving the parking garage. I'm just driving in the direction towards what will get me home. It's somewhere between here and home. I need a bathroom. We start going, hit I-5, and I'm like, a rest stop. A rest stop is probably best because what I'm going to do is going to be a brutal murder in there. So I don't want to go into a grocery store. I don't want to go into a restaurant. I don't want to go anywhere where anyone could possibly hear me. And I don't want to go anywhere where someone might immediately use it and know it was me. So rest stop. That's what I want. Rest stop. She's like, okay, rest stop. She Google Maps, rest stop. She's like, I found one. It's only 2 miles away. And in my head, I'm thinking, I was very certain that the closest rest stop was like the one north of Wilsonville, which is easily 30 minutes away. Yeah. But I was just praying that there'd be one sooner. But then she says 2 miles. I'm like, well, that won't even be out of like Portland proper. Oh, okay. 2 miles? What is this? She goes, it says stop. It says stop and rest. I'm like, okay. And I go, stop and rest doesn't, I don't care, right? We're driving. She goes, all right, it says take this exit. I'm taking the exit. But rest stops, they are the exit.
Yeah.
Right? There's no rest stop inside.
No.
I take the exit and I'm driving through trees and I see just a long corridor road. And she goes, it says it's a quarter mile up the road on the right. And I'm like, I can see a quarter mile.
We've lost precious time.
I can see. And now the nightmare is not only are we not finding one, we've wasted time not finding it. I see a quarter mile up the road. There's not one. I'm just praying. I hope I just don't see it. I'm so clouded in misery. I can't see it. Turn right here. Turn into a gravel parking lot. Nothing. Gravel lot, nothing. There's like some building, looks like maybe a government building nearby. We're kind of on the outskirts of Portland, and then a wooden fence, and behind it some shacks. And I'm like, and I just went, this isn't a rest stop. Where are we? And did I take the wrong turn? She goes, no, it says it's right here. I'm like, this isn't it. And I'm already whipping around like to leave. I'm like, just find something else. And then it dawns on me when I look over and see over that wooden fence, it's a series, it's rows of small, identical little shacks. This is one of those places where they set up those oases for homeless people. It's a stop and rest. It's a place where you know what Jude and I lived in for a little while? They set those up. There's one of those in Salem where it's like, hey, you're homeless. We're going to give you housing. And they're just closets for them to sleep in. It's one of those places. So I'm like, I can't even go here, right? Like, I'm not wanted here. And I don't even know if they even have bathrooms here. This is just a place where you're homeless. You're a vagrant. You just walk through. You walk through and you have a place to sleep. It's like, honey, it didn't say rest stop. It said stop and rest. It's like, well, it makes sense. So we're driving. We're leaving. I might just find anything at this point. Now it doesn't have to be a rest stop. It can be a grocery store. It can be a whatever. And we finally stumble across a gas station, pull in, and I go, well, we're still kind of in Portland. I don't want you waiting in the car, because that seems dangerous. Yeah. So you're coming in with me. But it's a gas station, so just buy something while we're in there. And I go, book it straight to the bathroom, right? And I'm in there long enough where it's like, it's an unfortunate experience. It's not fun. Every time she tells the story, she says, and he was in there forever, which I don't really appreciate.
And she talks about how she was just like looking at gummy bears.
Yeah, she's like, well, what am I supposed to do? It's a small gas station convenience store too. So it's just like, how am I going to not look like I'm stealing something? So she just stared at gummy worms for a long time. And then finally we go to leave and don't buy anything. We just walked and I'm like, let's go. She stared at gummy worms, right? You didn't buy anything, right? So we bought gummy worms. I'm wrong. I do remember because I remember looking at the guy and just hoping there was no knowing stare, like that he knew what I did. It was a bad experience, but no, I did not poop my pants. It still hasn't happened yet, Matt. It still hasn't happened.
Still time.
Because it's more like sudden. You're just like, ooh.
It was, dude. As soon as I got up, I was like, oh, this is going to be in about an hour and a half. But then I walked the 20 feet out of the restaurant and then it hit me.
No, not that. Like you felt it and you could control. I'm talking about like you chance something and you get more in your bargain.
See, that's what I've talked to you about. Like the reason you've pooped your pants is because you're willing to chance things.
Right. I'm very adventurous.
Yes.
Like, well, no, one time was I had 8 bowls of hot and sour soup because I make hot and sour soup, but my family doesn't like it. So I'm like, I'll eat it all. And and then I was feeling it and I was laying on the couch and someone was coming over, I think, or was outside. And so my dog got really excited, went, ah, and then jumped on the couch and landed on my stomach. And it was just, like whoopee cushion style.
Yeah. So there's that.
Style.
After eating some funky foods, I thought you guys deserved that story. Jude, I hope will appreciate it. He's not the only one now that has talked about just some moments like that in his life. It was, but I will say it's the closest I have ever been. And
I wish I was there. I would have tickled you.
Well, I forgot an important key moment. While in the car.
Oh, yes.
While in the car, after the failure of my wife's navigational skills, I'm suffering so badly. And so now at this point, it's like she decided to make a concession. Like, oh, honey, I'll give you this, right? And I'm like, I'm actually hurting. I'm dying, right? Like, oh, this is so bad. Oh, just roaring into the night. And we're looking for a place to go. And she goes, pretend this is your knee.
Yeah.
Honey, sometimes it's okay to just have an accident. And I go, what? Are you telling me right now to poop in your car? And I want you to go on this mental journey with me. If I say the words, are you telling me right now to poop in your car? And the words that come back to me are anything other than no. It's the wrong answer, right? It is, because then she goes, well, sometimes. No! There's no well sometimes. And it's my car now too since we're married. I'm not pooping on the seat. Like, I'm not sitting in it for the next hour or two because I know what this is going to be like. I am understanding the preliminary messages of the consistency of it.
I'm not Matt. I'm not Jude. I won't sit in that.
Yeah. It was a pride thing. I won't do it. Like, I'm not going to. If it happens, it happens. But I'm not going to go, I got to do it. No.
I would never do that.
I know.
I'd get out of the car.
Yes. I'm like, but knowingly, I'm like, no. It's not that's no longer the definition of accident. I did that. Like, you're telling me to do it. That's not even an accident. So that was probably one of the better moments.
Man.
But I decided also this needed to be in an episode because I took it out of that last episode because I thought it'd be funny for Patreon too. And the episode was long. But I thought, you know what, it needs to go back in because after that episode came out, Kanan in the Discord, here's your shout out. Kanan goes, man, we need more stories of Jerry almost having a code brown. So I thought, you know what? Part of me also took it out of the episode because I thought, it's potty humor. It doesn't need to be in there too much, not every episode. But Kanan asked for
disgusting.
it. Kanan asked for it, and now it's in. So if you made it this far, Kanan, into our finale episode, that was for you. And Jude, that was for you because you've told a lot of stories. And you guys, I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. No, that was awesome. That was beautiful.
Yeah. So if you go to Fogo de Chao or whatever it's called, you don't have to do that much preparation. Just drink some water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only fiber and
Not only fiber,
And
don't forget
chai
that you
tea.
drink
Liquid
a chai
laxative.
tea. Yeah, basically liquid laxative. So,
Yeah.
well, we hope you enjoyed this episode. It's been a long one, and I think our producer actually ended up having to leave.
Yep.
So there was a lot in there. I'm not going to try and really recap it and go and bring up all the points we made and try and recap it at the end. We hope you enjoyed it. I will just say, we love doing this. We love making this podcast. We love getting to interact with you online. We love getting to sit here with Hunter and Matt. Thank you guys for being here. We hope you enjoyed it. But for those of you out there, if you are not in our Discord, go to discord.gg/Christian Influence. Get involved. We talked a lot about community and why it matters. That's what we're trying to do online. We're trying to put our money where our mouth is, right? And we're trying to have good, Christ-like community on the internet. And it could involve a lot of things, whether video games or podcasts, content, all that. But the point is, in all things that we do to glorify God, and we want that community to exemplify that. So go be a part of it. There's a way that you can go there and talk about this show. If you're watching on YouTube, please leave us a comment. Let us know what you enjoyed. And then finally, our show is going to be on a bit of a hiatus for a little bit. Mm-hmm. We're not exactly certain how long that'll be, but we have some ideas. But it's probably going to be 2 or 3 months. And we try and take a break after every season to kind of work on what's going to make it better for the next season. But God really orchestrated some things well. This last episode actually is going to come out the day before my birthday. Super cool. Who cares, right? No. That's 4 days after our son is due. So our son, Perry and I, our baby is due on September 21st, and this episode's going to come out like right that week. So I do a lot of the editing on the show and all that, and we just need a little break. So you're not going to see us for a little bit. I hope that's okay. But when we come back, we'll come back stronger than ever with some new stuff.
We're gonna come back stronger than ever.
Yeah. What?
It's just the political thing every single time.
Oh, a political thing?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
If you reelect me, we'll come back stronger.
Like the whole thing, we're gonna come back and we're gonna be stronger than ever.
Oh,
It's gonna
I
be
didn't even
great.
think about that. I haven't heard that. I was just saying it legitimately because we'll
yeah, I
probably
know
have
that
some
you
new
were.
stuff, and we've got some plans. Before we go, did you have something to say?
Oh no.
Before we go, I was going to spare them this, but it is something
Spare
for
no
all
expense.
guests. Byron,
They should tell us a joke.
you guys are required to tell a joke. Maybe this is something we'll retire in the.
Maybe it needs to retire.
Maybe it needs to be retired.
Maybe it needs to stay. Matt, tell me a joke. Matt, I want you to tell Hunter a joke. And Hunter,
Rather
I want you to
than
tell Matt a joke.
tell a joke, I want to tell you something that is kind of a secret. I want to tell you a rumor. Have you heard the rumor about butter?
I have
Actually, I better not spread it.
I got to say, in my opinion, Hunter, the best joke we've heard on the show did come from you.
Yeah,
It's my
100%.
favorite one. The series of cow jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, not to put the pressure on.
Yeah, the pressure is on, and I'm like a one-trick pony. So
I know.
I mean, I'm sourcing
now
these.
I'm trying to.
because I've got a son on the way, so I've
Yeah.
been writing them all down.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you I can't remember because a season or two ago I told you a knock knock joke. Did I tell you a knock knock joke?
I think so.
I think you
Okay.
have to knock.
But we can revive it.
Revive it.
I don't remember it.
Okay. Well, I tell people a knock knock joke, but you have to start it.
Okay. Knock knock.
Who's there?
I don't know.
I don't know who.
Does it just keep going? Is it just about confusion?
It's just
just
to
about
make people
confusion.
feel bad.
just about making people feel bad. Yeah, that's uncomfortable.
You ruined his joke, Jerry.
I did? What? I didn't know
No,
where
he
to go.
actually executed it perfectly.
I didn't know where to go from there. What's the proper protocol? Great. Well, thank you guys for being here. Thanks for closing it out with that, with a little bit of uncomfortability. That's probably how our MO.
I'm very good at it.
Get out of this disgusting muggy heat.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you guys want to say before we go?
Anything to plug for either of you?
Well, we know you've got some stuff.
Hey, I want to know in the comments, because I've heard so many people say this just looking at Jerry. Doesn't he look exactly like Vincent Benedict
Vincent,
from
what?
Vincent Benedict from the 1998 hit classic Twins?
Let us know in the comments below. Look that guy up and let me know if you think I look just like him.
Vincent.
I don't see it.
Every time.
I don't see it.
You're going to go on there and post in like different
Accounts.
users,
Yeah.
and just
He's
be
done
like,
it before.
oh yeah, he definitely does.
Yeah. Anything you want to plug, Hunter?
I'm actually gonna plug. I work with a separate ministry. It's called Parable Ministries, and we just started a new show. It's called Commentaries. We're working through the Bible paragraph by paragraph. So if you like podcasts, go look up Commentaries. We'd love you to check that out.
Great.
Very cool.
All right. Well, listener, we'll see you in a couple months. We will miss you. I hope you miss us, and we love you very much. Was that you?
That was Matt.
That was definitely Matt.
All right. Well, goodbye and roll the outro.
My pants
Are they stuck?
stuck. They were stuck to that seat. Ew.